Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Sunday, June 23rd, 2013. This is episode 990. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Ring Central. I love my cloud-based phone system from Ring Central. Zero startup costs, and Ring Central is as low as $20 per month per user. Try it now with a 30-day risk-free trial, and when you buy one desk phone, you'll get a second phone free, up to a total of 20 phones. Call 800-543-9980 or visit ringcentral.com and use the promo code TWIT. And by ShareFile. Enhance your workflow. Send files of almost any size easily and securely with ShareFile from Citrix. Try ShareFile today. For a 30-day free trial, visit sharefile.com. Click the radio microphone and enter Tech Guy. And by LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom is not a law firm, but provides self-help services at your direction, like affordable business and personal documents you can trust. Visit LegalZoom.com. Use the offer code TechGuy. You'll get $10 off at checkout. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And it's time to talk about computers and the internet and home theater, digital photography. Our guru, Chris Marquardt, will show up a little bit later on in the show. Cell phones, certainly a big topic of conversation. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number if you want to call in and ask a question, make a comment, make a suggestion. We had some callers yesterday. It was fun. We had a 10-year-old who wanted to learn how to program for iPhones. And then we followed him with Shirley, who was an older person who said, I don't understand how this computer stuff works. Can you help me? I'll tell you, I'll take calls in either side of that spectrum. That's the spectrum right there. 8888 Ask Leo. That's a nice range, isn't it? And really, that's the thing I love about this is it's not any particular demographic or any geographic location. We have listeners and callers from all over the world. It's not any age or race or creed or income or national origin. It is everybody who's interested in technology, whether you're an expert or about to become an expert like Ben, or you just brand new to this and you're trying to figure out what the heck is this all about. I'm here for you. We're here for you. That's the fun of this. This is I think of it as a user group of the airwaves. Now, user groups are still around, but boy, I tell you, they're not as prevalent as they used to be. They used to be everywhere, and that was because, you'd get a piece of software in a Ziploc bag on a floppy disk. And by the way, this is in the era where floppy disks were actually floppy. I bet my kids have never seen a floppy disk, or even, I wonder if a diskette. They're 18 and 21. I bet you not. They don't know, but in those days we needed help. The computer industry, the manual came in that Ziploc bag, and it was about 4 pages, Xeroxed, impossible to read and impossible to understand, even if you could read it. So that's when users said we better band together and answer each other's questions, help each other out, and I'm still doing this 22 years later. Answering calls, and it's not just us. It's not just me. It's us. It's everybody in the chat room. There's about 1,000 people in there who are ready to help you with your questions, help me answer your questions, and of course, there's the million people listening at the same time. And between all of us, I think there's probably nothing we can't figure out if it is figure-outable, if that's a word. So if you've got a challenging question or problem or something you'd like to talk about, this is it. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Good news! Soon you're going to be able to fly with your device on. The FAA is about to rule on electronic gadgets in the aeroplane. And we don't know, but they may actually roll back those restrictions relax the use of approved portable electronic devices. It seems kind of silly when you've got, and we've got lots of pilots and captains and people who fly commercial airliners listening. So I'd love to hear from you. And certainly the captain is God aboard his plane, as has always been that way. But when you got pilots using iPads in the cockpit, you have to wonder how much danger a Kindle, which puts out far less radio interference and is back in the back of the plane, can do. Gate-to-gate use is what some people are. The biggest guy in favor of all this is the New York Times writer Nick Bilton, a good friend of mine, who's just really, for some reason, just got a burr under his saddle about all of this. And said, I want to be able to use my Kindle gate-to-gate. Music players, tablets, laptops, smartphones, and other gadgets may, in the next few months, be allowed. Now, the good news, and I think this is good news, is you still can't make cell phone calls. And I don't think that's for interference issues, although it's not, the cell companies and the phones don't like this because you're flying so fast, so high, that you're handing off from cell tower to cell tower. It kills the battery in your phone, and it's not really so hot for the cell network. So it is a bad idea, not so much for safety, but just a bad idea. So let's keep those off. It's also annoying. There's always that guy, isn't there? They're closing the door on the plane. The guy's talking loudly. It's really, really annoying. FAA says, we recognize consumers are intensely interested in the use of personal electronics aboard aircraft. That's why we asked a government industry group to examine the safety issues and the feasibility of the current restrictions. Nobody wants danger in the air, and I certainly wouldn't want to be the guy who didn't turn off his phone and caused the plane to crash. That would not be good. That would be bad. I wouldn't want that. On the other hand, if there's no good reason to do it, I think the original cell phone restriction wasn't about safety. It was about so they could sell you the expensive cell minutes on their Sky phones. I don't think it had anything to do with safety. USC Waller in our chat room has sent me an article from the Huffington Post yesterday. Pilot lands plane with iPad app after electronics and navigation system malfunction. Now, this isn't a small plane, but Raymond Cody was flying a single-engine plane across western Colorado when he realized his cockpit had malfunctioned. His navigation systems gave out. In fact, he had no way of telling airport officials. He picked up his cell phone, dialed the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA. A TSA agent answered. He was able to use his iPad, his navigation in the iPad, and land the plane. So there you go. iPads are good for safety. What do you think? I certainly don't want a plane to go down because it's my fault. I don't want to be that guy. But really, are they dangerous is the question. Now in Canada, they have rules about paying attention. And they make you, when you're getting on the plane and when you're getting about to land, take off your headphones so that you can hear the safety announcements. They do a lot of safety announcements on Canadian flights, if you've ever been on an Air Canada flight. And they do it twice. They do it in English and French. So it goes on and on and on. But they want you to hear it, and I understand that, and I respect that. But really, the Kindle, for nowadays, for most people, for me certainly, I don't bring a paper book or a paper magazine. And, it's not a huge hardship not to read for 15 minutes, but I cannot use it. Truthfully, I don't really care. I fly enough. I'm just used to it. I don't really care. But there are some people who do, and that's the good news. The FAA is listening. Whew. Well, that's a relief. You'll be able to read those. We live in a culture where we can't stand to be bored, right? You got to have a distraction 24/7. I can't play my Angry Birds. I'm going to... Who was it was playing Words with Friends on the airplane? And Alec Baldwin, right? And the flight attendant said, "Mr. Baldwin, you have to stop playing your little game now." And he said, "No, I'm going to keep playing." And they threw him off the flight, right? So I guess there's some people who take this very seriously. Did you get video on Instagram? Have you used it? I did my first Instagram video yesterday. It's kind of cool, but a lot of people are very upset about it. My kids who use Instagram like crazy. Instagram, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion, realizing that it was kind of starting to eat their lunch in the social field with the young folk. Us oldsters still like Facebook to keep track with our high school friends, but the kids now, they're using Instagram, they're using Vine, they're using Snapchat, they're shooting video. So Instagram's trying to play keep up, and my daughter must be getting old. She's 21. She says, "I don't like it." Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your call's next. I don't like it. Thank you, John. Got it, Chris. So see you at 12:30.
You've heard me talk about how important it is to have carbonite.
You know what, Chris? I would love it if you would. Let me see. I wonder if he's probably not listening.
So listen to this. Right now, when you purchase a 1-year Carbonite subscription, you will get an additional 6 bonus months free. Wow! 18 months.
Henry shot a video right away, so I'm thinking Henry liked it. But he's a big Vine fan. So, how do you? First of all, first thing with the supermoon is figuring out where to go to see it. So the moon is at perigee. That is, it's closest to the planet Earth that it'll be until next year. Once a year it goes around perigee. So there's a supermoon. Now the full moon was 7:24 this morning. So last night was a sort of full moon, and tonight will be a sort of full moon. But it'll still be 14% bigger and up to 30% brighter than usual. So the next supermoon is August 2014. The moon turned full at 7:32 a.m. Eastern. So that was 45 minutes ago. Is that right? 4 a.m. I'm backwards. You're right. 4 a.m. our time. So our shot at seeing the moon will be tonight. So Metro Scenes, who is a photographer in our chat room, said you should go to the Petaluma Bridge. I'm going to bring my tripod, my 5D, and my 7200 lens with the 2x extender, which will make it 400 millimeter.
You need to go to by Baskin-Robbins.
By Baskin-Robbins. Oh, yeah, because I could get the well, see, the key on this, though, right, is you don't want to shoot something up close and something distant. You want to shoot, preferably you're here, and there's a skyline in the distance, and then there's the moon coming up because it'll look really big over that. If the skyline's too close, the moon won't look so big. So maybe across the turning basin. That's why he was saying the bridge, because I could shoot down the river, right?
We need to get a boat.
I need a boat.
That'll make them raise the
We're going to need a bigger boat.
so they can raise the bridge. Right?
Oh, yeah, then they raise the bridge, and I'd be on top of the bridge. Wow! Yeah, the weather's not so hot. It's a little cloudy right now.
Yeah, it's going to be cloudy.
If it's cloudy, I'm going to be bummed. Oh, I know, it's gnooky. But let's see what Forecast.io says.
2 inches of rain by Tuesday
What?
for North Bay.
You're kidding. 2 inches of rain? That sucks.
Just for North Bay.
Well, that's where we are, in the North Bay. We're in the North Bay. Right now, it's not 86 degrees. Oh, it thinks I'm in New York. "42 English Street." Yeah, 69. Drizzle in the next 40 minutes. Drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. Let's go hour by hour. Where's the hour by hour? Look at that. That looks icky. I don't know what that is. Zzz. All right, click to load animation. I want hourly. Maybe I have to go somewhere else. Oh, time machine. Enter the date to explore the weather at this location in the future or the past. 9 p.m. tonight. 623. Activate time machine. Oh, man. Sets at 8:38. I don't know when the moonrise is. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. About an hour from now, Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, will join us. I'm going to ask him how to take pictures of the supermoon. You know, the moon is at perigee. That's an astronaut term. I learned that from Walter Cronkite. The moon will be at perigee when they launch tonight on the moon. It's at perigee. It's closest point to the Earth tonight. Actually, just happened. Well, I don't know, roughly now. And if so, that means the moon, the full moon, will be brighter and bigger, 13% bigger, 30% brighter than usual. It won't be this bright and big until August next year. So they call that a supermoon. And photographers are rubbing their hands with glee. So Chris will tell us how to shoot the supermoon in about an hour if you want to take a picture of it. But if you saw the moon last night, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. But tonight's the night if you want to get the biggest moon. Supermoon. Heather Hammond is our call screener. She takes all the calls. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
I see you have a very large cup of Acre coffee in front of you.
I love my Acre. When are they going to give me an endorsement deal?
Yeah, you should get a deal. And now, brought to you by Acre Coffee. Here's Heather Hammond. So I saw you doing, what was that, your moon face you were doing? The big moon on your head? When you rotated around your head? What were you doing there?
Actually, I was saying, you look better today. You were pink yesterday, and now you're...
You know, I burnt, I had
tan.
I had a barbecue event. I have one of these sealed up grills, you know, and I opened it a little too fast. They say open it slowly because when the oxygen hits the coals, it's going to burst into flame. Boy, it did. It was a fireball. And you can't really tell, but I used to have hair right here. Now I just have little squigglies.
Singy.
Yeah.
It turns into little balls.
And all the
right?
hair on the back of my arm got burned off.
That must have smelled awful.
Yeah.
Burning
I barbecued
hair.
myself. But I'm fine. I didn't, it could have been, I guess it could have been worse. It was a quick fireball.
It so could have been worse. There was a fire across the street from me like 10 days ago.
I saw that, but I think it
fireball.
exploded, whatever that
It
was.
did. That
Yeah.
meth lab?
Is that what it was, you think?
No, but, well, we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, the word DC Charles in the chat room has it is foom. That's the word, F-O-O-M.
Good.
Foom.
He smelled.
I had just got a haircut. That's what's sad, and I really liked the haircut. And I had a little Bob's Big Boy curl in the front, and it got it. It's gone. It's gone for good. So who should I talk to tonight, today, this morning? What time is it? Who should Heather tell me who's on the phone?
Well, I'm just going to go with my favorite because I'm not sure where he's going with this, and so I want to hear your answer.
Okay.
Line 4, Gary from Cape Cod, who's traveling through Texas, though.
Thank you, Heather. I love Cape Cod this time of year. Gary, Leo Laporte, the tech guy, welcome to the show.
Well, I love Cape Cod this time of year, too, but going to Texas, California, Washington pays the bills. And I am the captain of my 18-wheeler, and I love navigating with my iPad.
Are you allowed to marry people on your truck?
Well, some of my trainees would say I'm married to them, but I get rid of them as soon as possible.
The captain of your ship, do you allow iPad usage in the passenger seat while you're driving?
I encourage it.
Gary, I love it.
Encourage it. And on Waze, I always tell them I'm the passenger.
Right. Now that's, okay. So Waze is that great navigation app, which Google's trying to buy for $1.3 billion. And I love it. So you use it, huh?
Oh, absolutely. All over the country. I go places they've never been before.
Right.
Like in the middle of Montana or the middle of...
and Waze doesn't know? Waze will say...
Arkansas.
Waze will say, I don't know where the hell you are?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
It's funny. The application Dark Sky, sometimes it'll, down the bottom where it tells you where you are, it'll say, you're in the middle of nowhere. True, I'm not kidding. And then it'll give me my legal location.
I love Dark Sky. Another great tool for looking at this, for looking at the sky.
Now, the good thing about the giant moon, you don't have to go running all over creation for welder's glass.
Yeah, that's right. Unlike an eclipse, you can look straight at the moon. I can't wait. I'm gonna get the tips on how to take the pictures, because I really, you got to know where the moon's going to come up. I have an idea for a picture I want to shoot, and I know where, but I need to figure out where the moon's going to come up, what time to be there. I want to have a tripod, and then I have to get Chris to tell me what kind of lens and stuff. You just get to look at it. Wasn't it beautiful last night? Did you get to see it last night?
Yes, it was very nice.
Stunning.
Quasi full moon, as it will be tonight.
Yeah.
Although here too, down in get towards Laredo, the clouds are thickening up.
Yeah, it's happening here too. We're getting rain. I don't know what's going on. I might not see my supermoon.
Up in an agricultural area like yours, you ought to be thankful for the rain.
You're right.
Navajo, they have a saying, rain is love.
Yes, from the sky.
Yeah. Well, could you do me a favor, Leo, and compare and contrast Evernote and Dropbox? Because I want to incorporate geotagging with photographs into my workflow.
Yeah, they're kind of complementary. I use both. Dropbox is cloud storage that automatically synchronizes your chosen folder from your desktop to the cloud. It will do multiple desktops, so it's a really nice way of saying, here's a folder of stuff I want to save everywhere. So it's more than backup. It's actually synchronizing, so you have it everywhere. Very useful for work documents. And photography, because Evernote recently turned on a feature where it will upload all the pictures from your phone or whatever you use to Evernote, to a photo album on Evernote, which is very handy. So that's, in my mind, that's great for picture backup and to make pictures available across all devices. Evernote is a note-taking program with some similar features. It synchronizes the notes you take, which can include not only text, but also audio and photos and video. And it will synchronize that up to the Evernote server in the cloud. Cloud just means the internet, I should say, in the internet. And then it will do the same thing on every other device you have Evernote on. So it's similar, except it's more structured. Dropbox is just whatever's in that folder. Evernote understands a little bit more about the stuff, and so it's more structured. You can do it for notes, to-do lists, stuff like that. They're kind of complementary. Go ahead.
I'm thinking of taking, for example, when I pick up a trailer, I want to take a photograph of the number of the trailer, have that number recognized, have the geographical location.
Evernote.
Incorporated with that trailer number.
Evernote. Because Evernote, because it's more structured, you're going to be able to do things like search for the trailer number. Can't do that in Dropbox very easily. Dropbox is just backup. It's just storage. But Evernote, you can have a note that has an image in it, has geographic tagging in it. And Evernote is great for this. I have both. I think both are useful. I do think they're complementary. But for what you just described is what we call in the biz structured data. That is, there are. Think of it as a form where there are different fields. So there's a field for the number, the serial number of the trailer, a field for the location, and a field for the image. It's like a database. That's structured data, and Evernote's going to do better at that. It's designed around that.
Now, can I incorporate that with my Bento somehow?
They're similar, and Bento is a database program from the folks at FileMaker with exactly the same kind of idea. I would just use Evernote. Bento is there, though those completely overlap, and I think Evernote has a better feature set, is free, and really does the job. I'm going to talk a little more about it when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, Dropbox like a suitcase you throw everything into. You might have some partitions in the suitcase, but Evernote is much more structured.
Alex recommended this like a year and a half ago.
Light Track.
Oh, I love it.
What does it do? Well, I have a Moon app here. Let me just see. Well, I don't. I'm on Android, my friend. Let me see if there's an Android.
It's right here.
I could put it on there, yeah.
But it's tapped out. It's exclusive.
No, that's my tapped out machine. I don't want to put anything else on that. Light Track may be available on Android here too. I have a Moon app on here too, but we'll see. You know what? You guys are right though. May all be moot because I may not be able. Yeah, Light Track for Android, $5, same thing.
Yeah, it is. I love it.
Light Track, a must-have tool for all outdoor photographers. Outdoor photographers. Quickly determine what time and location the light conditions are perfect. Oh, this is good. $5. Wow. Elevation and angle of the sun. Calculates the elevation and angle of the sun and moon for any date or time for any place on Earth and plots it on top of a satellite map. That is what I need. You rock. I'm buying Light Track. $5. That's great. Yeah, if I'd only, I should listen to that Mac Break show more often. That's a good show, man. Really? Did Andy recommend it? Or Alex? Light Track. Thank you for remembering that. I have a Moon app on. Yeah. Payment successful. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Let's open. I'm going to install this and open it. I redid my phone this morning. I erased and started over. Sometimes it's a good idea to do that. All right. So here we go. Here is where we are. There's sunrise, sunset. But I want moon. So can I say moon? Switch mode to moon mode. Moon set, moonrise 8:56 p.m. That's what Metro Scene said. Now, what I'm proposing, and Metro Scene said I should try this. I'm proposing being right here. No, not right there. Right. Where is it? Right here. On this bridge.
Scroll the time to moonrise at the bottom.
So let's get this to moonrise at 8:56 p.m. Alrighty, let's go right there. Okay, so the moon. So if I'm right here, I think that's the bridge. God, it looks kind of tacky. What is that? That's something. What the heck is that? I think I've gone too far. Here's East Washington. No, that's the bridge. Oh no, that's that crappy bridge. Phil, I don't know where I am now. I know where I am, but so that's the highway. That's 101. It's before 101. But I think, what is this? That's not it either. Am I even looking at the river? What am I looking? Oh, here it is. It's back here. No, that's East Washington. It's not showing the bridges or something. There's where I used to live. It's right about here. It should be on D Street. It's Lakeville. Oh, well. So what is the blue? That's where the moon's going or where it's been?
And the red one is the moon.
The red one?
Yeah, it lined up with the yellow. You made it line up with the yellow.
Oh, it is. It's right next to the yellow. So what is that? That's the moon. That's the moon. So I want to shoot backwards?
Change the time and you can see how it changes.
It is. It's 8:50 p.m. Oh, I see.
Move it back and forth and you can see.
There we go. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Evernote is in my opinion, one of the single most useful apps, programs, and websites ever. And you should all have it. It works on everything. Windows, Mac, Windows Phone, BlackBerry, iPhone, Android phone, all the tablets. So the idea is you install, and it's free, by the way. It's freemium. So there's free and there's pro, but the free, it does 90% of what you want to do. So you install it on everything. And let's say I want to take a note. I'm on my Android device. I can open Evernote. I could take a text note, a voice note. I could take a picture. I've done this before. Take a picture of something, a flower that I want to know what the heck is that. Take a picture of it, and then I have it. It's in Evernote. And it's everywhere that Evernote is now. So it's on my iPad, it's on my computer, it's everywhere. And I can find it, I can search for it. If you have text in the image and you're paying for Evernote Premium, which isn't, I can't remember what it costs, but it's not very expensive. I've been a premium member forever. It will do some text recognition, so that helps you categorize the photos. I find it very, very useful for almost everything. There's definitely competition. Google has Google Keep, which is a note-taking app, and it synchronizes to Google Drive, which also is pretty much everywhere. There's a program called Catch, which does something very similar to Evernote. I think a lot of people have seen what Evernote can do and say, hey, That's a good business, and Evernote is a good business. They've done very well for themselves. I think Catch is starting to change its tune. I think they tried to compete against Evernote, and they probably didn't get a lot of uptake because everybody uses Evernote. And so now they're saying, well, we're going to be the Evernote for business. But I do think Evernote is more like a database. And our caller mentioned Bento, which is a great database system from FileMaker. But it's, you have to buy it. It's expensive. I would just stay with Evernote. It's not as pretty, but it's everywhere. The Evernote has added a food app and a Hello app, so you can keep track of what you eat and recipes. And the Hello app keeps track of people you meet. They've been slowly acquiring companies like Penultimate, which is a great note-taking app on the iPad, Sketch, which is a drawing app. I think they've really done a good job of growing and making this thing more powerful. So it is the first app I install on almost everywhere. And if for something like our caller was talking about, which is, all right, I need to keep track of these hitches. I need to keep track of the serial number. I want to take a picture of it, maybe have the license plate. This is perfect because then you can search it. Think of Dropbox as a big trunk that you throw stuff into, but kind of in a hodgepodge way. You can have little dividers in there so you can keep the photos separate from the recipes, but that's about it. On the other hand, Evernote is really much more structured. I used to put my passwords and serial numbers and logins in there, and now I stopped doing that. I use LastPass for that because it's more secure. The one negative on Evernote doesn't really use strong encryption. Think of Evernote as essentially insecure. They say we're secure, but they aren't very clear on how they do it. I would use it. No, but who cares if somebody can find, see some of this? I don't care if somebody can see my mom's biscuit recipe. On the other hand, if it's a password, my Google password, I'm not going to keep that in Evernote. I keep that in LastPass. Passport, I keep in LastPass. Driver's license, stuff like that. Dropbox, same thing. You can't assume it's secure because, as we found out, Dropbox has access to the data, which means, they can be subpoenaed for the data. Any Dropbox employee who is in the mood can look at your data. It's not secure either. So keep stuff that you don't need the security of is not critical. For instance, Evernote has, the other reason Evernote's great is it has lots of support from third-party apps, plugins and so forth, browser plugins that say, save this article to Evernote, things like that. But if you really want to keep something more secure, LastPass. All three of these are freemium. That means, and this is the new model for everything going forward. That's free to install Dropbox, Evernote, or LastPass. For a few additional features, you'll pay a little bit more money. And I generally do because I just want these businesses to stay in business. I really want them to succeed. So even if I don't need the additional features, I often do pay, and I have paid for all three of those. Dropbox, you pay for additional storage. Evernote, you pay for additional features and more storage. And LastPass, you pay for additional features as well. Evernote, it's a pro editor in our chat room saying, Evernote's a little clunky. I agree. It's not the most pretty UI. And so that's a little bit of a disadvantage. But, if it's clunky, but maybe they'll get it better. It still works really nicely. And I could see from the other apps that they're developing, like Hello and Food, which are really beautiful and elegant, that they've hired some developers. So they are working on it. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Back to the phones we go. Our next call is from the Inland Empire. Xavier's on the line. Hi, Xavier. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. You're awesome, man. I love listening to you every single weekend.
Oh, how nice of you. Thank you.
Hey, I had a question for you. Me and my son, we love playing games against each other.
Have fun.
He loves Age of Empires, StarCraft, Warcraft.
Me too.
But the only problem I have is this. He gets on his computer, and it ranges. It could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. His computer just turns off.
Yeah, it's overheating.
Yeah, but then he turns it back on, and it never shuts down after that. It's like one time it shuts down at I would say maybe 5-10 minutes into the game.
And then it's fine?
And then it's fine. He turns it back on, and it never shuts down on him. So I don't know what to do, because at first I thought it was overheating.
Yeah, it may not be. You're right. If it stays up after that, obviously It's not getting too hot, or it would shut down again.
So that's why I'm a little confused and lost, because if he's on the internet, it's fine. If he's
it's just for those big games,
right? Yeah, correct. So
well, I mean, there's two reasons why it might shut down entirely. It's shutting itself off is a big deal, and generally that can only happen for some very limited reasons. You know, a program crashing, if StarCraft crashes, it crashes, but you stay in Windows. Windows doesn't crash because of it. If a driver, like a video card driver, crashes, it can cause a crash of the entire system, but you'd get a blue screen of death. What you're seeing, the complete shutdown, to my knowledge, the only way that could happen is that it's overheating. I mean, that really is the hardware saying, I can't go on, and it wouldn't be safe for me to go on. Not even the software. The operating system has nothing to do with it. It's the BIOS saying, whoa, we've reached a temperature limit, and this is bad. Maybe I'm thinking there's something else running in the background the first time he starts up, and that's just enough to put it over the top. And the reboot's clean. I would try. Have you tried rebooting before he starts the game?
No, to be honest with you. Usually what happens is he'll turn on the computer right when we're going to go into the game.
Oh, the computer's been off, dead off?
Yes, right.
Not sleeping, but completely off?
Completely off.
Okay, and don't use Hibernate.
Right, no Hibernate.
No Hibernate. Okay, Hibernate is a form of off where it saves all the memory to the hard drive, then reloads it. If it's bad, it'll reload bad memory. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I agree with you on the heating. I thought for sure it was a heating issue, but then he turns it back on, and it works fine for as many hours as we're on it. It's just I'm always worried because I know it's bad that when it shuts down like that, and it just I don't want the computer to be ruined. So before I take it in,
yeah, well, it protects it. That's why it does that. By the way, it shuts down because it doesn't want to get ruined. It can actually. That's one of the few things, water and overheating are the few things that can ruin hardware. The other thing you might look at is the power supply.
Power supply.
And I'll give you one other tip from the chat room. They say update the BIOS. This is something that can also happen with an out-of-date BIOS. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show today brought to you by our phone company. It's Ring Central. It's a cloud-based phone company, which I really like. If you this isn't for a home user. This is for an office, a business. When we first set up the studio, we were wondering what the heck are we going to do? Because I used to make my employees use their cell phones in the cottage, and I realized I can't. That's kind of not okay. But at the same time, I didn't want to go to the phone company, get a PBX in the basement, pay all that stuff. So Russell told us about Ring Central. He's our IT guy. And he was right. In fact, shortly after we installed it, they called us up and said, would you like to do ads for it? I said, yes. And here we are almost 2 years later and still loving it. Zero startup cost. I liked that. There's no PBX. It's all in the cloud. About $20 a month per user. And as we add employees, they just plug in the phone. And they're good to go. Easy to add people to the phone tree and all of that on the web. There's a new feature for folks who do sales, the RingCentral app for Salesforce.com. You can integrate all your phone calls into your CRM system seamlessly. Create new records for contracts and leads. Create real-time call notes while you're on the call, which is awesome. It's just a great, if you're using Salesforce, RingCentral is now even more important. Start now. 30-day risk-free trial. Tell your boss if you're not the decider. And here's a special offer for our listeners. When you buy one desk phone, you get a second phone free up to 20 phones. RingCentral.com. Use the offer code TWIT with a free trial or call 800-543-9980. That's a special number just for TWIT listeners. Find out why PC Magazine gave them their Editor's Choice Award. It's the best. I give it my Choice Award. We're still using it. We love it. You get faxes in your inbox. You can use the RingCentral app on your smartphone to send text from the business number, to call from the business number, to receive text to our 800 number. 800-543-9980, ringcentral.com, or use the offer code TWIT. RingCentral. This is interesting. Evernote, I didn't see this. They've added a new feature called Clearly, which is basically a Instapaper or readability product for Firefox or Chrome that will take a post, clean it up, and then save it to your Evernote. That's really interesting. They're really getting into a lot of different businesses at this point. Maybe to their detriment. I don't know. This might be getting too complicated, right?
Are you ready for lunch today?
Oh, sure. Why not? I'm always ready for lunch. Let's see what Petaluma Market has on the menu. Super salad. Those are good, aren't they? I will have super salad. It's the same as yesterday. I had the smoky ham chili yesterday. It was quite delicious, but I don't think I'd like to try that again. How about an Italian wedding soup? Thank you, sir. You're very kind. Bogo, I don't think the Snowden guy is a plant. I think he's a legitimate whistleblower who, I know Dvorak and Adam Curry think he's working for the CIA. You know, I am a fan of Occam's razor, which says that the simplest explanation is usually the best. So while it is fun to think about conspiracies and Baroque, Gothic vendettas, I think he's just a whistleblower. And while I'm sure he expected this, I think that this is wrong-headed on the part of the Obama administration. Especially since nothing that you could argue, and we talked about this yesterday, that what Bradley Manning did endangered U.S. operatives overseas. And so that is in fact, that is treasonous because it endangered lives. But you can't argue that what Snowden did in any way endangered lives. And it, in fact, told us he's being prosecuted for spying, for telling us that the government is spying on us. I think this is the kind of thing that we need to hear. I don't, so. Of course, he knew before going in that this was very, very likely what was going to happen. What's interesting is he's got WikiLeaks helping him, which I think is fascinating. They apparently know well how to run. Heavens above. My problem is I think it's going to be cloudy. So this case is a official Samsung case. It's the Peekaboo flip case. So when it's closed, it takes advantage of something that the Super AMOLED could do. You can't really tell, but the screen is dark. I'll have to turn it on here. The screen is dark except for this mini screen. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, see, there's nothing else in there. When I open it up, it goes full. And the Moon Sunrise app was one very interesting one that Mr. Alex Lindsay recommended, and that John Slanina remembered, called Light Track. It's iOS or Android. Light, Lighttrac. Which lets you track the sun and the moon and where it is in the sky. Yeah, that's Heather's picture on my lock screen. No, it's my kids. It kind of looks like Heather. It's my daughter. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. of A. The last thing, we ran out of time, I just wanted to mention the power supply problem possibly causing that restart. It's weird that it'll restart and then not restart ever again. A number of people said, it happened to me with my Alienware or my Dell, and a BIOS update fixed it, so maybe something going on in BIOS. It's still probably tied to that maximum temperature allowed. You set that in the basic input-output system, BIOS, which is software that runs before anything else runs. It's running your computer kind of at the lowest possible level. And it's the thing, not your operating system, but it's the thing that's monitoring temperatures on the motherboard, on the CPU, and it's the thing that says, hey, whoa, hey, wait a minute, way too hot, we're going to shut down. So maybe a BIOS update, that's it. Maybe it's a bug in the BIOS, you know. Maybe it should be shutting down that second time, and it's just not. That would worry me more than anything else, because you want it to shut down if it's getting too hot. Mike in Los Angeles, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You've helped me a couple of times in the past, and I've got another issue, and hopefully you can help me again.
All right, I'll try.
Okay, I've got System Mechanic on my HP desktop.
There's a name from the past, System Mechanic.
Yes, yes. It gives me a warning that my firewall software was not detected. So I go to my control panel on my Windows firewall, and it says update your firewall settings.
Okay.
I click on that, and it gives me an error code that said Windows firewall can't change some of the settings, and then an error code number. And
I'm worried. You know, do you have other security software on there as well?
I've got ESET, not 32.
Okay.
And I've got a router, so I've obviously got a firewall on that.
Well, then that's the good news, is the router is a better firewall than the on-computer firewall anyway. So let me talk a little bit about what a firewall does, why you want one. The router makes a great firewall, even if it's not intended to, because what happens is incoming traffic from the internet, this is the thing we're protecting against, hits that router, and if it's a bad guy trying to take advantage of a flaw in Windows, it hits the router and it attempts to take advantage of it, and the router goes, I don't know what you're talking about. See ya, and just bounces right off. So the router is your protection against the outside world. The reason I do recommend a software firewall, and the Windows firewall is more than adequate for this, is for infections within the network. Let's say somebody comes over with a laptop, says, hey, what's your Wi-Fi? I want to get on here so I can surf a little bit. Well, if that laptop's infected and he then gets on your Wi-Fi, he's inside the firewall, inside your network, and if there's a worm, a bug that is network aware on his system, it'll go, let me explore and get onto your system. That's actually happened. CNN crashed a few years ago because of a worm that somebody brought in with a laptop. They were protected against the outside world, but not against inside. So that's why it's important. Sometimes multiple security programs can interfere with one another. Is it the Windows firewall you're trying to get working?
Yes, the Windows. And I also go to the Action Center, and it says Windows Security Center service is not turned on. I go to turn it on, and it says it can't be started.
Well, I'm worried. First of all, I don't recommend System Mechanic. I don't think it's necessary. A lot of times these programs that are supposed to improve performance really slow you down by sitting there and running. They're just one more thing that's running in the background that's not really helping. So my concern is that the System Mechanic may be interfering here. ESET, is it just the ESET antivirus, not the full ESET package?
It's the NOD 32.
Yeah, that's fine. That won't get in your way. That doesn't interfere with the firewall in any
like
way.
that one.
Yeah. Now, ESET and a lot of companies make larger security packages which have their own firewalls and so on, and that would certainly interfere. But I don't think that's this is not the case. I would take off System Mechanic. You might try, if you're still having a problem, you might try disabling any security software like ESET that you have running. But you do want that Windows firewall working, and I'm not sure why it's not running. It should not be turned off by ESET NOD 32 alone. It would be if you got the fuller, ESET package.
Yeah, I've got, it says, even in the control panel under the firewall, it says turn Windows firewall on or off, and I do that, and I come up with the same.
You get an error message.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put, the gray area is posting in our chat room a diagnostic on the Microsoft site that you might want to take a look at for problems with the Windows firewall. We'll put that in the show notes. It's in the Microsoft support site. The other thing you might want to do, Big Ginge is suggesting, I think this is a good idea too, ESET makes a services repair tool that you can run for free, run on your system, and see if any services are damaged. Because it sounds like that service has been disabled or damaged. And to be honest, I just don't recommend System Mechanic. I always get nervous when I hear that something's not working properly and you've got other software that kind of is in that realm running.
All right. I've used it for, probably close to a couple of years now. I never had an issue with it.
Yeah, but I don't think it adds anything either, you know.
As far as doing any of the repair work to the registry and all that stuff?
No, I'm not a big believer in that. And you can get in more trouble, quote, repairing the registry than just leaving it alone. These guys, you know, this is how they make money. They sell software that you might need. It's not really in their I don't think you need it. I really don't. The Microsoft support article, diagnose and fix Windows firewall service problems automatically. This is the error that you're probably getting unable to start Windows firewall service. The ESET service fixer will also work with this. I just don't believe in the other snake oil. And the more stuff you have running, the more problems you're going to have, right? So, especially on modern versions of Windows, you know, in the old days, Windows 98, yeah, you had memory managers and, you know, you had software updates and registry cleaners. You don't need that stuff. You really don't. It's a waste of money, but more importantly, it's a waste of memory, CPU cycles, and it interferes with other stuff. So I think it's probably best just to uninstall that as best you can. That's the other problem. Sometimes all this stuff doesn't uninstall very well, and that's bad too. Moving along to Victor in Pico Rivero, California. Hey, Victor, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't like stuff that runs in the background all the time. Hello.
How are you? I have a problem trying to figure out where all the files that I want to back up are. And
isn't that annoying? They hide those files. Well, what is it you're trying to back up that you can't find?
Oh, the application files.
Oh, you don't
Yeah,
you don't want to back up application files. You really can't effectively back up application. What you want to back up, a backup is going to. Here's the real important thing to understand with backup. The backup is making a copy of something you created that you don't have another copy of otherwise. It's a waste of time and probably not effective to try to back up the operating system or the applications. Here's why. When an application installs, especially on Windows, it puts files in its application folder, but it also modifies the registry, may put some DLLs in the system folder. It puts stuff all over the disk. And you cannot back up everything because it's almost impossible to know where everything is. There are programs that claim they can back up applications, and I guess if you can't get the application disk and you can't download an update to the application, I guess it's this application is no longer made. There's no source for it. Maybe it would be worth trying that, but it rarely works well. The point of backing up is stuff that you don't have a copy of otherwise. So what you should have is a copy of Windows. Everybody should have one. You should have a copy of the applications you use. And nowadays, a lot of times you don't have a physical copy. It's online. Save the serial number so you can reinstall. Worst case scenario, bad times come, your hard drive dies. Even, you can always reinstall Windows, reinstall the applications. That's actually a good thing. Fix a lot of problems people have with their operating system because over time things cruft up. And then restore your data. Back up your data. You don't need to back up the apps. There's one kind of backup that is useful, and we've talked about it before. This is an image backup or a ghost. That backs up everything. And the idea is to simplify a future Windows install. And I would only do it, right after you install Windows in your apps for the first time. You can use Norton Ghost. Ease US has a program. Disk Drive Snapshot. A lot of choices there. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, thank you. I don't generally answer questions from the chat room in the show. But occasionally I do.
Summer's almost here. The weather is great.
Occasionally. Problem with Clonezilla, I don't recommend Clonezilla off. I do recommend it on the show, but with great caveats because it's not, remember, this is a show not for geeks, but for normal people. And that is a little bit of a tricky. I do clean installs all the time. In fact, this morning I did a clean install on my Galaxy S4. because it was bugging me. For some reason, it would not notify me when there was a incoming message, text message. So it just wouldn't do it. So I redid it. Speaking of incoming messages. All right. Delete threads. It's making sounds now. The problem with Clonezilla is you have to make a disk. It's a Linux disk. It's a little more complicated. The best... There are a number of good imaging programs. EaseUS makes a free one. It's quite good. Windows 8 has one built in. I used to use it. I recommended for a long time Drive Snapshot. DriveSnapshot.de. It's not free, but it's nice because you could do it from within Windows. You can make it a disk. This is one that Steve Gibson recommended. And then he started recommending something different. Is it easeus.com? Yeah, that's it. This one, they make a disk cloning program that they give away for free. Can't remember which one it is. Is this it? This copy home edition? I think this is it. Yeah. This is an easy one to use. Acronis is fine. Why pay for it? Why pay for it? And then there's one, I can't remember what it's called. It's got a very generic name that Gibson uses now. It's Windows Imager or something like that. It's very generic. What was the name of it? Win32 Disk Imager? I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. But Disk Copy is great. So if you want to go back to, on your HTC One, if you want to go back and you didn't make a copy of your original ROM, there's TrickDroid, which is very good. Actually, I'd recommend TrickDroid. Download that ROM. It's 422 HTC One ROM. Web 1032, that is 99designs.com/twit. This Week in YouTube has been moved to Monday because it was really kind of interfering with our ability to do twit. Yeah, if you have... many drives come with disk imaging capabilities. Yeah, I'm very interested in this new Ative that boots into Android and Windows 8. I might buy one. I like the disk resolution, the screen resolution. Macrium Reflect, I don't know that. Do you? Macrium? You like it? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for is so you don't have to go. That's the problem with Clonezilla and others. You have to reboot. And cool. Free 30-day trial. That's good.
Mine was a
Free.
Been using it forever, but maybe that was because I had it for years.
Yeah.
I'd recommend that.
Good. So this is another one I'll add to the list. So Patrick and Roger recommend. All right. I'm not familiar. This is new to me. Yeah. Yeah, cool.
You got to burn a Linux disk to boot to.
You have to burn a Linux disk to boot to restore.
Which is okay because you're restoring to a
Right.
hard drive usually.
Right. And once you've made the disc, you can always use it again, yeah. Let's get going for hour number 2. What do you say? Full disc backup BOGO. There's so many choices. That Macium would be fine. Macrium would be fine. Ease US has a good free one. Clonezilla is good if you're more technical. Drive Snapshot's excellent. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo at 33 1/3 after the hour. Our photo guy, Chris Marquardt, will be here. He says he wants to bust a photo myth. I'll let him do that, but I am going to beg him to tell us how to take a picture of the supermoon. The moon is 13% brighter, 30% bigger, or is it the other way around? Yeah, it's the other way around. 13% bigger, 30% brighter than it is normally because it's closer to the Earth than it is. In fact, it won't be this close till next year in August. And so it's a great opportunity to take a beautiful full moon shot. But there are ways to do it that really get a great shot. In fact, you can, if you look online for supermoon, you can read all about it. And if you look at images, there's a lot of pictures going up of the supermoon. My favorite way to do it, and the way I want to ask Chris to do it, is the moon looks super big when it's just coming up, right? And there's a skyline behind it. And that's what I want to shoot, is a skyline with the moon coming up over the skyline. My idea, and maybe I can get Chris to help me with this too. I was thinking maybe multiple exposures so you could see the path of the moon as it rises up over the skyline. I'm going to get my tripod set up, but I have to figure out right where to put it, how to shoot it, what lens to use, all of that. Chris Marquardt will tell us how in just a little bit. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. If you have a question about anything in technology. Let's go to Matthew in Carlsbad, California. Our next caller. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Leo. I'm a really big fan of yours. But how are you doing today?
Well, I'm fine. How are you doing today? And thank you.
Good. I'm 13 years old and school's out, so I'm looking for a really good laptop that has a good processor, so I can do some gaming on it, and also some memories, a good memory, so I can keep all my school papers back.
So is this going to be your laptop that you'll take? Are you going into high school next year?
No, 8th grade.
8th grade. But this is going to be a school laptop, but for summer it's going to be a fun laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have a budget?
Just about under $1,000.
That's a pretty good budget. You should be able to get something for that. Are you going to go for Windows 8?
Sure. Why not?
Why not? Good man. You're young. You can learn how to use it. What do you have now?
My own laptop is an HP Mini, but for gaming, I'm using my dad's Toshiba Satellite.
And Dad says, "Get off of my computer, kid. I want my computer back." So gaming is a little challenging for all laptops because laptops, unlike desktops, they don't have a lot of room. They don't have a lot of heat dissipation. They're trying to balance the laptop performance with battery life. All of those things are kind of, inconsistent with a great gaming machine. There are gaming laptops, but they're often big, heavy, overpriced, and battery life is bad. So you what games do you play? I mean, are you playing Minecraft or are you playing Call of Duty?
I play a little bit of Minecraft, but also I play Steam games like Team Fortress, Half-Life, and Gmod.
Yeah, love Gary's mod. So Minecraft's not too demanding. Unfortunately, Half-Life is they're not the latest. You're not playing Crysis. You're not playing the latest stuff on there. But you will want something a little bit more oomphy than you would need, say, just for Minecraft. And it's particularly on these systems the graphics processing unit, GPU, that's important, isn't it? I'll tell you about some stuff. You may not want to spend the money. Razer now makes laptops. You probably know the name from gaming mice and keyboards. They're great. They make super thin, laptops where they're paying a little bit of attention to the processor and especially the GPU. But look at the price. Here's the 14-inch gaming laptop, $2,000, and that's the starting point. So a gaming laptop is a little bit more of a challenge. Alienware is a Dell company that makes laptops just for gaming as well. Let's see what Alienware can offer us. I wonder if they have anything in the $1,000 price range. Let's look at the Alienware 14. Yeah, that's $1,199. That's a little bit closer, isn't it? A lot of times, though, you're paying for styling. Look at how it looks cool. I would say you're probably better off not worrying so much about the gaming. If you have to, you can turn down the graphics. Because you said you want a lot of storage. Nowadays, speed means a solid-state drive. Those are expensive per gigabyte. There are some names I would look at. Lenovo is my first choice for a serious laptop. They make some excellent Windows 8 laptops. Asus is also very good. And I think you could probably shop around in your price range and find something. Remember, you're going to pay attention to the graphics processor on here. You don't want the Intel HD 4000 or HD 5000 graphics. What you'd prefer is some NVIDIA graphics on there, okay?
Okay.
If you can get that in the price range, I would. You would probably want the 4th generation core processor. Just came out this month. That'll means it'll last more years in the future. Plus, it has some additional nice features like better built-in graphics. You might find the HD 5000 graphics that come on the 4th generation is sufficient for Team Fortress and Gary's mod.
Okay.
You're probably looking at 256 gigs of solid-state storage. That's a lot less. You'd get a terabyte or two if it were spinning storage. But trust me, you're going to find ways to store stuff in the cloud and stuff. You really want the speed of a solid-state drive.
Okay.
And almost all the laptops now have solid-state drives. 4 gigs of RAM is probably sufficient. If you have some money left over, you can get 8 gigs. I would get an Ultrabook. I wouldn't worry about optical drives. I wouldn't worry about screen size. 13 or 14 inches is fine. The bigger you get, the more you pay, and the worse your battery life is. So does that all sound reasonable?
Yeah. Thanks for your advice.
Hey, good luck. Have fun.
Okay.
Pay less attention to the gaming and more attention to the things that'll make it a better school computer, because you can always turn down the graphics effects and get a good result. It just won't be as super cool as your desktop. But if you're playing on an old Toshiba, it'll be better than that, frankly. Charlene is in Gilbert, Arizona. Hi, Charlene. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Nice to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you.
I have a 2009 Mac, and I also have a 2009 MacBook Pro. Neither one of them I use very much anymore because I've got an iPad, I've got an iPhone. So
that's what happens, isn't it? Yeah, the mobile stuff is so
I do all my
great.
mail and stuff, and internet searches on the iPad or my phone. I do use the Mac primarily for photography processing.
Good.
And I leave it on all the time and let it hibernate or go to sleep, whatever the heck it does.
Yep.
And sometimes I'll go over to it and I'll hit the space bar to wake it up, and it's shut off. And I have to turn it back on and reboot it. Any idea why it would be doing that?
So you never turn it off, but it just decided to turn itself off, huh?
Yeah, and I don't know when it did it because,
This is the desktop or the laptop?
The desktop is doing it.
Yeah, I can see the laptop might do it, just, because the battery died or whatever.
Laptop never does it.
Never does it.
One time I thought it was really running hot, so
That could be that.
I downloaded that app that shows you the temperatures,
Yeah.
And then I decided I thought it was running too hot because if I touched the screen, it actually felt hot, especially when I was processing photos.
You're not hitting the power button, are you? Let me look into this. We got to take a break anyway. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Sleep will sometimes turn itself off? It's a Mac. It's a Mac, guys. Tell you what, if you weren't listening, don't try to answer the question.
Small businesses, they come in.
Do me a favor.
Setting or your.
I don't know who Cheryl Atkinson is or why her computers were hacked. And she got hacked. CBS News confirms multiple breaches of Cheryl Atkinson's computer. Wow. I guess if you're a celebrity, it's more important. Suddenly it's a news story, right? Wow. Everybody. A cybersecurity firm hired by CBS News has determined through forensic analysis. Wait a minute, I should be reading it like Walter Cronkite. That Cheryl Atkinson's computer was accessed by an unauthorized external unknown party on multiple occasions late last year. While no malicious code was found, forensic analysis revealed an intruder had executed commands that appeared to involve search and exfiltration of data. Yeah, I don't know what the story, if it's a story at all. Yeah. She got hacked. And that's the way it is. The Justice Department says, to our knowledge, the Justice Department has never compromised Ms. Atkinson's computer. You know, that's where we've gotten to now, where somebody gets hacked and the Justice Department has to issue a denial. Isn't that sad? And this is why the government should really not be in the spy business, because then it's presumed she's a reporter. It must be the government hacked her. Or she installed the hot tot Trojan by visiting a porn site. I don't know. Yeah. Her boyfriend installed E-Blaster, and that was the end of that. We've later learned that she punched the monkey and installed... Well, to our knowledge, of course, I mean, they can't, I mean, Justice Department's a big place. You'd think they were, I mean, I suppose it's possible. They, you know, with the AP reporters, they did all sorts of stuff. Isn't it ironic that Snowden is fleeing to Russia, Cuba, or Venezuela? There, yeah. You'll find a lot of privacy there. We've later learned that Cheryl Atkinson's been playing Candy Crush. Well, he was talking to the Ecuadorian ambassador, I know, but is that where he went? Or was he headed to Venezuela and they were just interceding? I just want to jump! Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So, Charlene's computer just turns itself off spontaneously for no reason. I would look in your power settings. I'm not sure why it's doing that. It shouldn't do that. But I don't know if that necessarily means there's a problem. It might be crashing. You know, there is a setting in your power settings to turn itself back on after a reboot. You might check that setting. It could be a power supply problem. It could be something more serious in the hardware. Do you have a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply on that computer?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you might try that. What it is
And
a
then
big it's a big battery. If the power goes out intermittently, it'll keep it going for a few minutes.
And then the other thing, Leo, is I'm running Snow Leopard still, and I was thinking about upgrading to Mountain Lion so I would be able to, see my files across all my devices.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's always a good idea to update on the Mac to the latest version you can. What often happens is software will start to require it. Apple will start to require it. You won't be able to update iTunes if you don't. Things like that.
Okay, so then you would recommend that I purchase Mountain Lion and upgrade my computers.
It's cheap. It's $30. You'll be ready for Mavericks when it comes out. I don't recommend installing the minute a new operating system comes out, particularly with Apple. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, I want to put iOS 7 on my phone." I go, "Stop! What are you, crazy? Do you use that phone? This stuff, Apple especially, is notorious for really its beta version, its test version is often version 1.0. And I have some expert Apple friends who say we never install the new operating system until they've got the fix released, 10.9.1. And so it's fine to install Mountain Lion now. It's absolutely stable. And I would maybe wait to install Mavericks until the 0.1 release.
Right. Well, I'm wondering, considering the age of my machines and everything, if they'll even allow my machines to upgrade to Mavericks.
It's not that old. They're only 4 years old. Absolutely.
Okay. And is it very easy to install from the App
It is.
Center?
Because you have Snow Leopard, you can just go to the App Store. You'll download Mountain Lion. It'll download an installer. Before you run the installer, my suggestion is make a copy of the installer somewhere, because one of the things Apple does once you run the installer is delete the installer, and then you have to download it again. It's a 5 gigabyte download. Might as well get it, put it on a USB key or put it somewhere else. Copy it, don't move it. Copy it, and then it'll run, and you can install the update.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for the information. I enjoy the show and listen whenever I can.
Thanks, Charlene. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care. Fred in Los Angeles. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Fred.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay. Long-time listener.
Thank you.
First-time caller.
Great.
And you always have great information. I have a Dell laptop, which I'm very, very pleased with. It's a 7i, and I am thinking about. I just bought the new Office 13.
Yes,
and it works great. And now I want to get imaging, because it takes a long time to get everything on a computer.
It's so much trouble to do and that is the best reason for doing an image, is right after you install Windows and get all your apps on there and get it all tweaked up just the way you want to install all the updates. Making an image at that point is great, because that image will only take 5 or 10 minutes to restore. So you now, in effect, have a Windows installer that is going to do it quickly. By the way, that's why Microsoft has moved to image installing since Windows 7. It installs much faster because, in fact, it's on the install disk. That's just an image. But you can do it too, and there are a lot of programs that can do that kind of thing. Now would be a good time to do it if everything's operating perfectly. Put it on a separate disk, an external drive somewhere, and you're good to go.
And I'm a longtime user of Carbonite, which I swear by. It's absolutely fabulous. And now they have an imaging as well.
They do. I don't like making, I'll be honest, I don't like making an image to the cloud because it's too big and too slow to get it up there. The whole point of an image, in my opinion, is it's not your backup. You still have to run Carbonite because you change files, things update. You still want to, the main purpose of a backup is to back up your stuff, the stuff for which there is no other copy. But the image, the reason you want the image locally is because the whole point of an image is that you can quickly reinstall. So I don't think an image in the cloud is a good idea. Does the Carbonite move it up to the cloud, or does it just do an image locally?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, so I don't know either. There are a lot of good free imaging programs. easeus.com, EASEUS.com, has a copy disc backup that's absolutely free that'll do that. One of our visitors, Mark, who's visiting the studio today, says he's been using Macrium for a long time. They have a free version as well, MACRIUM. Both of these will do it while you're running Windows, which is nice. You don't have to boot out of Windows. You do for the restore, but that's, with any luck, you won't have to ever restore it. But put it on a disk and you put it aside, and that way you have it right here. You can even check it and make sure it's all right. So I haven't tried. The gray area in our chat room says he thinks Carbonite does make that image to a local drive. If it does, then that's probably fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize I haven't tried it. I'll have to try. I'm a little behind. Carbonite keeps adding features. They're and disclaimer here, they are a great sponsor of the show. And I haven't tried that.
They have a great product. That's why I said, to myself, since they now have imaging, maybe I should try imaging as well.
All right. I'm a bad man. I will try it and I'll let you know. But yeah, why not? Oh yeah, full system mirror image backup. Keep a local copy. Doy, yes, it will do that. Go ahead. Why not? You got it. You paid for it.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic deal because it's only $40 more.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is they have this great courier recovery service now where they'll actually courier you a hard drive with your with your backup on it, which I love. If you say, I need to get back fast, well, it's tomorrow soon enough, and they'll bring you the hard drive. So apparently this Carbonite mirror image backup does make it to a local drive. You have to be a Home Plus or Home Premier customer. So that's the slightly higher end Carbonite.
Right.
I will try it. I am a Premier customer, so let me try it and see how that works. But yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Super.
Thanks, Fred. I appreciate it. In fact, if anybody's used it in the chat room or listening now and let us know, that'd be great. It is a local drive that you back up to. That much we know. You do have to have a Carbonite subscription. I presume that once you've made the backup, your subscription can lapse and you can still restore it. All of these things I will find out, but not right now because I'm busy. Let's go to Ireland. Stephen is on the line. Hi, Stephen. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, wait a minute.
Hello, how you doing?
We're going to talk to you in a moment, okay? I hear the magic music saying it's time to take a break. Can you hold on for a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The supermoon is coming up. Hold on for a moment there. ShareFile, our sponsor today, and they sponsor the podcast. Citrix is, of course, a great sponsor, has been for a long time. ShareFile is something I use every single week to send audio to the radio station. So there's a lot of pre-recorded audio. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, the tech guy, and you're listening to WXYZ. And for a long time, I used other solutions. I think you could probably guess which ones. And they just didn't work out, the consumer-grade stuff. ShareFile is designed by business for business. Of course, because it's from Citrix, it's secure. It's even more important if you're a lawyer or you're in the medical profession and you're sharing confidential stuff. You need to have a way to do this securely where you don't lose control of the file. ShareFile allows you to send files to your clients, colleagues, without attaching them to email. You send a link, a secure link. They don't need to log in to use the link. They just click it and download the file. You can send files of almost any size, anything up to 4 gigabytes. I can't remember what the total. It's big. So you don't have to worry about email bounce backs. You can, on the file, you can say they can download it once for a week or a day. You completely control it. And you get an email when they download it. Plus, you can access your share file from anywhere. So it syncs a folder or 2 or 3 or as many as you want. And that way on your smartphone or your tablet, you run the ShareFile app and you could share files directly that way as well, which is very, very handy. I do that all the time. I want you to try ShareFile right now. We have a special offer right at the top where it says radio listeners, click here. See the big green one? Don't click that one. The little green microphone at the top that they hide. Click that link and use our offer code TECHGUY, one word. And do yourself a favor, choose the industry. You don't have to, but it's nice because they customize it for like 40 or 50 different industries. Everything from tech services, video, marketing, music, medical, legal, construction, agriculture, architecture. It's really handy. So whatever the industry you're in, customize it for that and try ShareFile absolutely free for the first 30 days. I think you're going to like it. It really is the way to do it. Tech Guy, one word is the offer code, sharefile.com. Chris Marquardt is here. He's our photo guy. Love Chris. Each week he joins us to talk about digital photography. It's going well, Chris. Chris, of course, the host of the Tips from the Top Floor podcast, which is a great photography podcast that I highly recommend. But he also teaches workshops, and he just takes great pictures. Supermoon today. Have you seen it?
I knew you'd ask me about that.
Have you seen it yet? Did you see it? Because you're in Germany, so the moon has already come up, right?
You know, I think we can turn this into a Mythbuster kind of thing because, the supermoon for the last few days has been pretty much almost the same as it is today.
Oh, come on.
So it's not that much bigger, to be honest.
It's 13% bigger.
Yeah, 13. Have you seen Neil deGrasse Tyson ranting about it on YouTube? It's funny. You should find the video.
Does he mock it? He should support it. He should support it because
I think as a photographer, it is actually wonderful because it gives you a wonderful excuse to go out and shoot the moon, and that is, it's not really that simple to shoot the moon. So, but with a few tips and tricks, I think you can.
It's just a little bit bigger, a little bit brighter. I know,
and it's not even that rare. It's like 4 to 6 times a year. So, but anyway, if the weather's clear, I mean, this is a wonderful excuse to go out and shoot a great picture of the moon.
What's good is don't feel bad if you miss it because
of course not.
There'll be another one. Actually, the next one's not till August of next year. So,
Oh, really? Okay, okay.
Not that, Neil. It's not that common.
I retract that statement then. It's not even an astronomical term. I think it's a media term that was coined in about a few years ago. I don't know exactly. But
anything with the word super is good.
Exactly.
It's actually the perigee syzygy of the Earth, Moon, Sun system.
It's when it's closest to the Earth. That's why it's a bit bigger.
Right.
And if at the same time it's a full moon, then you have the maximum surface of the moon that you can get.
The main thing I think Neil would want everybody to know is it doesn't mean there's more earthquakes. It doesn't mean there's more howling at the moon. It might mean slightly higher tides, but it's really mostly a photography term.
It is because you have the maximum area, and if you have a long lens, if you have, let's say, a 200, 300 millimeter lens, anything longer than that, anything bigger than that is better in that case.
So
Bigger
I
lenses,
have my
500,
7200 and I'm going to use the 2X. It'll make it 400. That's as big as I go.
400. Yeah, and that means you can get the moon in the frame, not at full size, but it will allow you to add some scenery to it to make a nice composition, have some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I see pictures of the supermoon where it's just a picture of the moon. Well, that's no big deal. I can do that any full moon. But the idea is how big it looks against the skyline.
And that's what makes it so exciting. By going somewhere, and that's pretty much a question of location, where you go, so that you know where the moon comes up, and then you will be able to compose it with a building or something else interesting in the front. That's definitely a good way to do it. So find good locations, find the right time, be there early. I looked it up. If you type in moonrise and the location of your place, you will find websites that tell you. So in Los Angeles, it's 2029, so it's 8:30 roughly when the moon will rise. In New York, it's about 8:40.
Right.
So be there early because you want to be ready. You don't want to start setting everything up. So the things you can set up. Obviously, if you work with such a long lens, is use a tripod. Helps you to keep the camera steady. But you would be surprised how bright the moon is. The moon is like anything that is directly lit by the sun is very, very bright.
Well, so that's the challenge. So it's got to be bright. I want to shoot so that the moon, I can see the features of the moon.
Yes.
Does that mean the rest of the background is going to be dark, dark, dark?
There's a very good chance of that. So a lot of the pictures that show you a beautiful skyline and then the moon above it, those are mostly composites because you have either the moon and that's just one of those things. You can try double exposures. Some digital cameras allow you to do that, but in general, the moon is so bright that you want to go manual. You want to go any automatic setting in the camera will be tripped up by that. So you want to go manual, and there's a rule of thumb. Set your camera to manual exposure, set it to f11, that's the aperture 11, 100th of a second, and ISO 100. Those are the three values you want to start out with. Those are very good values to to begin f11, ISO 100 and 100th of a second.
Otherwise, you just get a big bright dot.
Otherwise, you get an overexposed bright dot, and it doesn't look nice. It doesn't really look nice.
Okay.
And then,
how about
yes,
a time exposure? A time exposure or no?
Long exposure? You mean like several seconds?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No, 'cause
we're
it's
talking
too
a
bright.
100th of a second.
It's
We're
too
talking
bright.
a 100th of a second.
Yeah.
It's a very short exposure. You can do some fun stuff by having like multiple exposures that you composite later in Photoshop or something, where you have like the path of the moon with several individual exposures. I've seen those. They look brilliant because you get to see the moon as it rises above the horizon.
So it's just a myth. Any full moon would do.
Yeah. You might be able to save a few millimeters on the longest lens, but but again, if the weather's fine, it will still yield wonderful pictures, and maybe it's even a community thing. If you find a good location where other photographers are, there's a good chance that you will be like 5 people there, and you can exchange interesting stories and tips and tricks and things. And if you look online, the pictures you're just looking at,
these are from the Baltimore Sun. These are great.
Yes. So it's really good if you find a great location where you can put the moon behind something and then have it rise over it, a building or people or a mountain or something like that.
I think any excuse to take pictures is good, right?
You know what? There's a little secret. The crescent moon, where the sun comes from the side of the moon, I think yields better photos. They look much cooler because the sun skims along the sides of the moon, and then all of a sudden you'll get the craters, very, very... a lot of depth in the craters, lots of texture in the craters. The full moon we're looking at, the sun is pretty much shining straight at it from our
Softly
perspective.
bright, yeah.
So the side-lit moon, for me personally, is a much more interesting sight.
One thing people are doing that's interesting is silhouettes. The moon is so bright, but if you could get a silhouette behind it.
Silhouettes of buildings in front of it, silhouettes of mountains, silhouettes of people, silhouettes of ships or something. There's so many things you can shoot the moon behind. And
well, there you go. Never mind. I got all excited. Chris Marquardt is at chrismarquardt.com. His great workshops to discoverthetopfloor.com. And we have an assignment. Will you do it next week, you think?
I think next week sounds like the right time
So
to do
the whole
it.
idea is we just want people to take pictures. You can't submit old pictures because I feel bad because Heather here has a great old picture that she really likes, but they won't take it. They won't take it. No.
It was just okay.
You got to take a new picture and then tag. What's the subject? Green?
Green.
You got to tag it with the word green and then upload it to our Flickr Tech Guy group. So if you're not a member of Flickr, it's free. Just join Flickr and you get a terabyte of storage now for free. And then our group is Tech Guy, 2 words. Upload it once a week. You can upload it. Make sure it's tagged green. And we'll look at some green photos next week. We'll pick 3 good ones to take a look at. Right, Chris?
All right.
All right. Thank you. Chris Marquardt, the photo guy. Green. Speaking of green, let's go back to Ireland, where it's always green. And Stephen's been hanging on. Thanks for your patience, Stephen. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well.
So my question for today is, how would I get Microsoft Office or maybe any other program like an antivirus or something to run the setup on multiple PCs? So say if there's a program that I could use to send that setup file to all the PCs and then run that setup file.
Oh, yeah. This is something in business that they do a lot, because if you have 100 computers, 100 desktops, and you want to install the same program on all of them, I'll tell you what, we have to take a break again. Hang on. We'll talk to you in a bit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. Stephen, are you an IT guy? Are you a student? What is your background? Stephen's calling us from Ireland. He wants to install applications on multiple computers at the same time.
Well, I'm actually 12 and I'm leaving the school.
And before you leave, you want to leave a little gift on each computer?
Yeah, they want me. I've been doing the computers for a while now, for about this year now, and they want me to. They were too lazy to hire an IT guy, so they just got me in, right? So they wanted to do that, so they're trying to get the most out of me before I go.
I love it. I love it. Where are you going?
I'm just going to secondary school now. I think that's like, I don't know what that is in America anyway.
Yeah, it's like, so you're 13. Yeah, it'd be like high school, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. So what you're doing is called a deployed install. A lot of IT professionals do this all the time over the network. There are programs that will do it. Microsoft has one called PS Exec. This is probably what you'd want. It's all Windows, right?
Yeah.
This is from Sysinternals. Mark Rusinovich, the great Mark Rusinovich, wrote this. And it lets you execute a program on a remote system. Now, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is have to put the installer on each system. You can do that over the network. I don't know if you can do that instantly, but or automatedly. How many systems are there?
There's about 30, I think.
Yeah. That wouldn't be such a big deal. Can you see them all on a share? I mean, can you get on the network?
Yeah. There's computer 1, computer 2. They're all the network.
All right. So this is basically a telnet replacement designed specifically for doing this. And in fact, if you go to the Microsoft site where they have this, they link to an article at Windows IT Pro describing how you would use this so that you can sit at your terminal, never get up. That's your goal, right? And install these software on all of these systems. So Mark Rusinovich was is a great programmer who wrote a whole series of wonderful tools for Windows under his brand Sysinternals. Microsoft hired him. They said, "You're too good. We want you to work for us." And so Rusinovich now works for Microsoft, and so you can get, if you search for Microsoft and Sysinternals, you'll see all the Sysinternals programs. By the way, as a de facto IT guy, it'd probably be a good idea to browse all of them because you'll find so many useful utilities on here that you should probably have on a CD that you could just go and install on any computer you use. Rootkit Revealer is great for finding rootkits. They have process utilities that let you monitor what's going on in the background, like proc dump and auto runs. Process Explorer, Process Monitor. There are literally dozens of free programs. They're all free, and they're really great. Highly recommend them all. In fact, you could see Mark talking about them. He gave some sessions at TechEd last week, and you could see him talking about those tools as well. 4 sessions. If you want to be are you interested in doing IT for the future? In the future?
Yeah.
This would be a great way to learn. I think, Stephen, you'd learn a lot from this. So it's simple to find. If you just Google Sysinternals and Microsoft, you'll find it on Microsoft's TechNet.
Okay.
Very good. Thanks. Hey, great to talk to you. I'm so glad you listen in Ireland. Where in Ireland?
Kerry. Do you know where Kerry is?
Yeah, sure. We know where Kerry is. That's great.
Okay.
What county is Kerry in?
Kerry.
Kerry County, right? All right. Yeah. Fabulous. Nice to talk to you. Keep listening. Okay, Stephen?
Thanks.
Thank you. Take care. Sorry we had to stretch that out. Mark is also a novelist. He's written 2 really juicy novels for people who are geeky and like their suspense thrillers geeky. He's written a couple of them that are available on Amazon.com, and I'm told are wonderful. 0 Day is one, and Trojan Horse as well. And both are based on what really is happening out there. They read like news stories, but they're fiction. It's just fabulous. Mark Rusinovich, Sysinternals. 8888 Ask Leo. In Bellflower, Sandra's next. Hi, Sandra. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Oh, I'm so glad you called, Sandra.
I'm just so confused. I'm lost.
Everybody is. This is why, I was talking at the beginning of the show, we need user groups so that we users can band together and help each other. That's what I'm here for.
Well, good. I hope you can help me because I am completely lost. I've been without a computer or the internet for several years now. Yes, I know.
However, do you survive?
I don't. Barely I have survived. But I'm ready to get into the real world now. And I was going to buy a full-size computer. And I've been listening to your show for many years now, and as much as I can on the weekends. And I would like to buy a full-size computer.
Why?
Well, for my, it's a little easier for me to use.
You like the big screen.
I like the big screen. I like the big computer. I need the space, and I take up a lot of space.
But let me ask you, what do you do with this thing, or what will you do with this?
Well, I will. Well, my old computer was just mainly that just turned off in the middle of nowhere, and of course I wasn't backed up. But I will be backed up with carbonite, and I will have ESET on it.
But what do you do? Do you want to get email? Do you want to surf the net?
I want email.
Do you want to play Left 4 Dead 2? What is it that you're looking?
I'm not too into games now. Eventually, I would like to get into it. I'm not quite sure if I need the i5 or the i7 processor.
i5 is fine for anybody unless you're doing really high-end photo editing or video editing.
Okay, now I am going to do the photo editing.
Yeah, but i5 is fine. i7 it just adds multiple threads. It doesn't add a whole lot to you.
Oh, I see. Because my husband's an artist, so he will be.
Oh, neat. So he's going to use it for drawing as well.
Yes, he's going to be, yes. So that's why I was wondering about the i7. And unfortunately, it's been hard. It's been hard without a computer, but I haven't been able to use a computer until now.
Okay.
And I was just wondering.
Is there any reason that you want to use Windows and you don't want to use a Mac?
Well, I used Mac years ago when I first started college, and that was, in fact, the first computer I started on. And then I've always used Windows. I'm a business major, and it's mainly my type of thing is more documents and things like that I'm into.
Well, I got to tell you, you could do anything on a Mac that you could do on a PC. There's nothing. In fact, you could even run Windows on a Mac should you need to.
I was thinking about that as well.
I feel like for somebody coming back into the computer world after 7 years off, I just feel like Windows, one of the things that's changed in the last 7 years is the amount of security issues out there.
I mean, I've used a computer in between. It just hasn't been mine.
Yeah. Security has become a big deal. And I really feel like the best thing you could do at this point would be, I get that you don't want a tablet. I think an iMac would be a very good. Get the 27-inch because you want big 27-inch iMac. Now, it's a little more expensive, but you get what you pay for. A lot of times people say, well, I could get a PC for half that. You can. But believe me,
what you're paying for.
You get what you pay for. It won't be as reliable. I think you should, especially if your husband's an artist, if you're going to do photo editing, you could put Excel on it. I mean, you could do all the spreadsheet stuff you'd ever want to.
I think that would be more down the line for him, though, for him to using it, because he is an artist and he despises the computing industry.
Well, yeah, and he will despise Windows 8 even more. I can promise you that.
Well, that's why I'm trying to go for the Windows 7. And I'm trying to get an older version, a new one of a Windows 7, and I've been checking it out in, Consumer Reports.
Do you have a budget?
About $2,000 for the Mac.
Oh, you can get a nice Mac for $2,000. Look what Consumer Reports said about the Mac. They said it's the best computer they've ever used.
It is.
They really like the iMac a lot.
It is. I haven't used that in so many years. I was more into software. I
think you're going to be very happy with an iMac. I really think so.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. Unless the only reason that's compelling to get a Windows machine besides price is gaming.
I see. Yeah, and gaming I'm really not into now today, but now. And I'm sure I'll be on the next computer by then.
I think if you get an iMac, you will call me back in 6 months and thank me. You'll say, I knew I wasn't really up for it, but I'm very happy. And you remember, you can always run Boot Camp on it and put Windows on it, and it's a very good Windows machine too.
Oh.
But I just think a Mac is going to be a lot more stable, a lot more reliable, a lot more what you want, to be honest with you. I hate to see you start getting into that Windows world at this point. Hey, thanks for the call. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I just can't see any reason for her to get a Windows 7 machine. except
In business,
price.
collaboration is key. We're constantly collaborating with coworkers, with clients, sharing files.
$2,000, you get a very
contracts,
nice iMac
spreadsheets,
for that.
Presentations, and it's so
I think it's
important
$12.99.
that these files are kept safe, secure, and under your
Let me
control.
look
In
at
some
the
cases,
iMac.
government regulation requires it. That's why I recommend ShareFile from Citrix.
I think our internet's down again. They don't need an i7. They really don't need an i7. Nobody. I don't even need an i7. I always buy them because I'm stupid. Is this us? This has got to be us. Apple can't be this slow. Yeah, our Wi-Fi's down again. That's nice. There we go. Is the Apple page broken? That works. But this isn't the store. It's the CSS isn't loading. It's something wrong with... I hate our freaking internet. It's just terrible here. If you knew how much I pay a month for internet and how bad it is.
You had problems at the cottage when I was there.
Yeah.
Is it locally or is it...
No, it's us. I spend more than $4,000 a month for internet, but
I don't think it's us, it's Apple, I think.
no, it's us. Of course it's us. You think Apple's store is down? Did you too? It's our Wi-Fi. We have 150 megabit fiber from Comcast. We have Pro Business Cable from Comcast. We have ADSL2 from Sonic. It's the configuration. It's not the... You can't get Fios that cheaply for business. Remember, we're business. Really, people are seeing the same thing in other places. It's the store. Wow. Really? Wow. Okay, so it's the store. It isn't us. People in the chat room are saying it's that way everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but many places. Wow. Wow. Good job, Apple. It's just not loading. Oh, there goes Edward Snowden. You know, I would wear a helmet, Edward, if I were you. Somebody gonna come up behind you. I really feel for that guy. I think he really. I believe. I mean, we don't know. He could be a complete huckster. We don't know, but I do feel that he did us all a favor by revealing what was going on. It's very sad. You think she should buy an HP Pavilion? Really? Really? I'm sorry. I can't tell anybody to buy an HP Pavilion. That is disgusting. If you're going to get maybe a Dell XPS 1, which costs the same, by the way, as an iMac. I'm never going to recommend somebody buy a Pavilion. Yeah, it's only $1,000, and it's worth every penny. If you're going to buy Windows 7, the Dell XPS 1 is a great choice. They make a touch one, but I think you can get it. This is their 27-inch XPS 1. Let's customize it, shall we? Let's go to list view. It's faster. Windows 8. Oh, come on. Where's Windows 7? Where's Windows 7? No Windows 7. I have to call them up. I don't want any of this crap. No McAfee. Look at all this junk. All right, but see, that's 1648. Comes with Office. It's 6 gigs of RAM. i5, 3rd generation. I want, this is not good. Let's look at the XPS. See, this is the problem, is that they're selling the. Oh, don't get that. Yeah, but if you're going to buy a new computer, you should get the 4th gen. I think an iMac is a good. By the way, they don't have Haswell on the iMac either. So. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. If you've got a question, a comment, a suggestion, if you want a little help, a little hand-holding on the information superhighway, Heather and I are here at your command. Right, Heather?
That's right.
At your command. Who should I talk to next?
Let's talk to Joe in Los Banos.
Los Banos, California. Joe, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thanks, Heather.
Hello.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Leo. Thank you very much for your help. You have a very interesting program. I have an email account with Hotmail, which has been converted to Outlook. And on my desktop computer, when I access my email account, it comes on, and then after about 30 seconds, it goes off, and I get an error message that says Internet Explorer has stopped working. The problem caused the program to stop working correctly. Windows will close the program and notify if a solution is available. Well, I've never gotten a notification of what the problem is, and I can't solve it. It's been going on for about a week now.
What version of Internet Explorer are you using?
9, so far as I know.
Good. So you're using the latest version available to you. Are you on XP?
No, I have Windows 7.
7. So there's something on the site. That Outlook, by the way, Microsoft's killing Hotmail. You had to make that transition. So that's just the way it is. Outlook is better in many ways, but it probably does a lot of JavaScript and coding and so forth that your browser's just choking on. I wonder if do you have any toolbars or extensions installed in Internet Explorer?
Toolbars or extensions? I don't know how to answer that question.
All right. Sometimes if you install software, sometimes without even telling you, I'll give you an example, Java. When you install Java, it just quickly says, hey, by the way, I'd like to install something extra here, a little Ask Toolbar, don't mind me. Pay no attention to that. And you click OK, and now you got something installed in your browser that you never wanted.
Yeah.
And that can be what's causing the crashes.
Uh-huh.
So I'm a little concerned that maybe you have some stuff installed that is causing Internet Explorer to crash.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, of course, is getting rid of it right now.
Yeah.
Is there a way? Let me ask the chat room this. I'm not going to recommend you go to IE10. I think that's probably not a good idea. You can use other browsers, and in fact, I think Chrome is a better browser, the Google browser. You might want to just try that. But okay. I think resetting your browser is probably the best thing to do so that you can get back to a kind of a known state. Because it could be a lot of things. It could be toolbars. It could be extensions. It could be a cache that is corrupted. So what we want to do is close all your windows. Just, nothing running in the background. You open Internet Explorer. Then go to Internet Options from the Tools menu. And under the Advanced tab, there's a Reset option. And I want you to reset your Internet Explorer, including deleting personal settings. Check that box. Okay. Delete everything. Because what we're going to do is we're going to kind of reset this to its factory state.
Okay.
And I think that will probably fix it.
Okay.
If it doesn't, then you're going to want to try it with add-ons disabled. And that may, because if you don't know, you may have some browser stuff installed there. And so to remove the add-ons, similar kind of process, you're going to, and this would be a separate thing. Under the Tools button, though, there's a Manage Add-ons. And what you can do is go in there and see what all the add-ons are. And I would just get rid of them all.
Okay.
Now, if you have bookmarks, you have a lot of bookmarks, favorites that you've been using?
No, none.
None.
No.
It's all right. So then you can easily reset this thing without any hazard to you.
Okay.
I would try that.
All right.
IE should obviously work with Microsoft's Outlook. I mean, they're all Microsoft products, so it should work just fine.
Yeah, sure.
So first reset the browser, get rid of all the cache and stuff. If that doesn't fix it, then go into your ad. In fact, you might look and see, because this will tell you what you got going under the Tools menu in Internet Options, and look at those add-ons and see what's in there.
Okay.
Okay?
I thank you very much.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for the call. This is not supposed to happen, but it seems to happen an awful lot to all browsers. The biggest, browsers, which are going out on the internet to an unknown Wild West world, are almost always a source of compatibilities, errors, crashes, infections, too. This is how bad guys get into your system almost universally now. So it's not unusual for there to be browser problems, frankly. Dave in Redondo Beach, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Leo. How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
Real good, thanks. I really appreciate your call. I want to thank you.
My pleasure.
I've got a Galaxy S3 Android phone, and I'm looking for a locator app. I know there's one for iPhones called Find My iPhone, but I really wanted to just ask you what your personal favorite was for Android phones.
Samsung phones come with one. Which one do you have?
The phone, it's a Galaxy S3.
Yeah, I think the Galaxy S3 already has that as part of your Samsung account. But I'll give you another choice that I like and use as well, which is Lookout. Do you know about Lookout?
No, I've never heard of it.
I install this on all my Android phones. I don't know if it's help or not, but it reassures me a little bit. What it does is it scans all the downloads to make sure that they are not problematic. And nowadays, I'm just waiting for problems, for malware on the Android phones. There's been a few little issues, but not a whole lot. Nevertheless, I think it's a good idea to run Lookout. And one of the paid features of Lookout is this ability to find your phone, to wipe your phone if you can't find it, things like that. Really, really good stuff. And everybody should have Lookout. Lookout is free, basically, and I think that there are some Find Your Phone features that are free, but you'll have to check and see. And then, as I said, if you log into your Samsung account on your Galaxy S3, they offer that as well.
Okay, I Googled it and I found one called Seek Droid.
Yeah,
seemed to be real popular.
That's another one too. Seek Droid's good. There's a lot of stuff. I think Lookout's good to have for the malware scanning anyway, and somebody's telling me that the Find Your Phone stuff is free as well. And I think it's a good program, and the company's going to be around. You can trust their servers. They're going to, this is the issue is Find My Phone only is as good as the company that's providing it.
Yeah.
And I think Lookout's going to be around a long time. Seek Droid, it's just some guy.
Yeah.
So Lookout.
I appreciate it.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks for the call. I put that on all my Android phones. I don't know, off the top of my head. It's not an antivirus exactly. It scans downloads and it checks, to see if the download is safe based, I guess, on a database of unsafe downloads. But that's a good start. It also has this thing called Signal Flare, which automatically, this I like, saves your device location. Even, if it's run out of battery, it will know your last location. That's a problem with a lot of the Find My Phone stuff, is it only works if you're online, if the phone's online. Well, this actually saves it to Lookout servers periodically. Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. So you can always check in with Lookout. Well, where's the last place it reported in from? That's handy also if, you lost the phone in a parking garage where there's no GPS, things like that. Our show today brought to you by our good friends at LegalZoom as well. We do when we do the podcast, we have separate sponsors for the podcast, and I'm really grateful to LegalZoom for being one of those sponsors. LegalZoom's not a law firm. What it is a really great service for people who need legal documents. You don't always need a lawyer to do, say, a will, an incorporation, a trademark. These things are pretty straightforward. But you need somebody to walk you through the process, and that's what LegalZoom will do for you. When I started Twit, I made an LLC because everybody said, well, you want to protect yourself for liability reasons. It was very easy to do, $99. You walk through a step-by-step process. And we're still operating under the same operating agreement that I did in 2005 with LegalZoom. Even though we now have a law firm and we pay retainers, and because you have to as you get bigger. But they say, no, LLC document, that's good. You can be an S Corp or a C Corp, too. They have incorporation for $99, plus, of course, filing fees. Trademark. If you've got a blog or a website or a business and you haven't protected your trademark, you're at risk. You could lose it. It's nice to have. And, of course, if you have a family, you've got to have a will. Otherwise, the courts decide where your money goes, where your kids go. You don't want that. LegalZoom will do a last will and testament for $69. In the past 12 years, over 2 million Americans have used LegalZoom for LLCs, wills, trusts, trademarks, and more. It's so easy, a step-by-step process. And if you have questions or you need advice, you can even access their extensive network of attorneys. LegalZoom's legal plans are available in most states. You'll see the attorney's profile and unedited reviews from users so you can pick the right attorney for you. And because they've pre-negotiated the fees, it's very affordable. I think LegalZoom is a great solution for a lot of the stuff that you would do and pay a lot for with an attorney. LegalZoom.com. Check it out. It's not a law firm. Self-help services at your specific direction, or you can speak to a legal plan attorney, get your questions answered, get ongoing advice. And we want you to mention that you heard it on the Tech Guy. So if you do me a favor when you sign up for LegalZoom, on checkout, use the offer code TechGuy, one word, and you get $10 off. Just a way of, a little way of saying thank you for mentioning that you heard it on the Tech Guy. LegalZoom.com is the one I use, one I recommend. I do use Google DNS in some cases. I don't know what we're using for DNS here. We were using SonicNets, and I think now I don't know what we use now. No, the $10 does not come out of me. We arranged that with LegalZoom, that they would give you a $10 discount. And yeah, I trademarked Twit, the name Twit, and the trademark, the little Twit guy. I think that's important to do. If you look at our website, it says what our license agreement is. So all of our content is licensed Creative Commons. You can go down to the bottom and it shows you exactly. Twit and the Twit logo are registered trademarks, but the netcasts themselves are under a Creative Commons attribution, non-commercial, share alike. And you can click that link to find out what that means. The creator, the founder of Citrix passed away this week. I was sad to see. Ed Iacobucci was one of the great guys in the tech industry. Just loved Ed. He was originally at IBM, one of the architects of OS/2, and then was invited by Microsoft. Microsoft and IBM did a little exchange. This is back in, the 90s. I can't remember exactly when, where some IBM engineers went to Redmond to work on Windows NT, the next business version of Windows. And some Microsoft guys went to Armonk, went to IBM to work on OS/2, because remember, OS/2 came with Windows inside. So Ed was one of the guys who went over to Microsoft and worked on the NT kernel. This guy was a great coder. You can thank him for a lot of what really works about Windows. We're still using a variant of the NT kernel today, actually. But at the time, he learned how remote access worked, and he wrote the basic remote access code, founded Citrix a little later, and Citrix is still an enterprise, widely used as the remote access solution enterprise. Left Citrix, I don't know, maybe a decade ago. He founded a company called NetJets that was a timeshare for corporate jets. It was a good idea. I'm sorry to lose him. A great man. Ed Iacobucci passed away this week. Not very old either. I don't remember his exact age, but wasn't too old. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Greg in Placentia, you're next. Leo Laporte, welcome, Greg.
Leo.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
been on hold a long time, and my wife's very happy because I've been in the backyard trying to get a good signal.
You've been quiet.
And the whole time I've been on hold, I've been doing honeydews.
I love it. That's what you do. Do you have a headset?
No, I got a new Galaxy S3 for Father's Day last week.
Oh, what a great
And
present.
I'm giving it a workout, so it seems to be holding up pretty well.
I think the Galaxy S3 is a great phone, maybe one of the greats of all time.
So my wife is kind of a geek freak, and it's time to get a sound bar. And I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between a powered sound bar and a non-powered sound bar. And would I be happy with a non-powered one? Because I don't know about hiding the power wire.
Right.
TV's on the wall.
Well, let me explain to folks who are wondering what you're talking about. A sound bar, if you want 5.1 or 7.1 surround sound with your home theater, you got a big TV, you want to make it feel like a movie theater, you need that many speakers, 6 or 8 speakers, left, right, center channel, subwoofer, 2 rear speakers, and of course, that is often a spousal issue because it takes wires and everything, and
Well, I did find while I was waiting, I had the Nook out here, and I was continuing to search because I wanted to see a comparison between this, that, or the other. And ABS Forum did have a review on this thing called the InstaOutlet.com, which basically powers the sound bar.
Well, before you get to this, let me finish this, okay? Because I'll explain why powered or non-powered doesn't make any difference at all.
Oh.
So the sound bar is a clever idea. It's a single bar. The idea is roughly the width of the television goes right below the screen and simulates this 5 or 7 speaker setup with speakers. Now, it can't do a perfect job, but they can use computer imaging to make the sounds seem to move around. It creates a soundstage. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good, and it has a much higher spousal acceptance factor because there's no wires. It's just there. The only difference between powered and unpowered is a powered soundbar just plugs right into your TV, is driven by your TV, plugs itself into the wall. It's just like, when you use computer speakers. If you get powered speakers, you just plug it right into the computer. If you don't, you need an amplifier to power them.
Right.
So what you're talking about here is, do I want to just plug my soundbar right into the TV, or do I want to have an AV receiver powering this thing? So you're not an unpowered soundbar. You're going to have to buy more stuff, and not just a power supply. You're going to have to buy a receiver.
Ooh. Okay.
See? So that's really not the question, is it? The question is much simpler. It's do I want to buy an AV receiver or not? If you don't, you have to buy a powered soundbar.
I was thinking if I bought a non-powered soundbar, I'd be done, but I guess I need a powered one.
Yeah, you want a powered one. Now, there are a number of different ways to go with a soundbar. My recommendation, which I really like, and I think you're going to get a good result, but it's a little pricey, is the $700 Sonos. You've heard me probably talk about Sonos. I seem to be in love with Sonos. Now, I've purchased more expensive sound bars. The $2,500 Bose I strongly recommend against. It's terrible. And it's really expensive. So the Sonos, the advantage of the Sonos is you not only get a sound bar, you get a little Sonos system too. So the idea of Sonos is it lets you listen to internet radio, your music collection, a variety of other things through the same sound bar. And it's very easy to set up. One of the reasons I like the sound bar is the setup is very, very simple, and it will work with your TV's remote control, which is kind of important.
Right.
Now, you can get less expensive sound bars for sure.
Yeah, I was seeing them on Amazon for like $100 for Sony ones and video ones. And
the cheap ones are basically just some speakers, and they'll be marginally better than your television's existing speakers. You need to spend more than $100 for this, but not much more. You could spend, say, $400. I would look at sound bars from companies like Polk Audio, well-known sound companies. Okay.
But now I got then I still got the issue of I put a sound bar on the wall. Now I got to have a power cord coming out of it.
Well, you would anyway. I mean, you're going to have cords coming out of that thing no matter what.
Well, if this thing I just saw on ABS Forum, the InstaOutlet.com, is basically a way to power the soundbar without having to plug it into the wall.
What goes into the soundbar?
Well, the power cord still goes into the sound bar, but it's powered from the back of the television.
Well, does your TV... All right, let me look at this. Does your TV have a plug on the back of it?
Sure. Well,
An outlet?
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But I guess this thing creates the plug.
Well, I'm going to look at this. I have the website now. I'm not sure exactly what it's doing. No tools needed. Plug this end into the TV. Plug this into your Insta outlet. I don't understand why. I see. All right. Power up your streaming media player soundbar from the back of your TV. Well, this is just a doohickey. I don't know what the advantage is. You could just plug the thing into the okay, if your TV, and most do, has a power outlet, you plug your soundbar into the TV and you're done. This is just, as far as I can tell, a power splitter. You could don't buy this. It's not. I don't think it's worth more than $5 or $6. It's a doohickey. A courtesy outlet. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't understand this at all. Okay. There's TV's got power in the wall. So what's the, okay, you could. Right. So you don't have to have anything coming out of the TV. You got, but if your TV has a power plug in the back. Oh, I see what it's doing. So this is a splitter. I get it. So the TV's going into your installation in the wall, going into this thing, which gives you another plug. If your TV already has a plug, obviously you don't need this. This is for TVs that don't have a plug in behind them. And it's the same thing as giving you a plug that's in your TV. Only makes sense if you have an installation where your TV's got a hole in the wall going into it. I wonder how much this thing is. It should be $5. Let me click here to get my Inst outlet. They didn't even spell it right. $15. Well, it's cheap. It includes Velcro. I wouldn't do this, to be honest with you. But if it makes you happy. Plugging the TV looks like this. Oh, I see. They have two different kinds. Well, it's a power splitter, is what it is, which I think is a bad idea, frankly. So you see what it is here. They don't have, this TV doesn't have a plug in the back. A lot of TVs do have an accessory outlet in the back. Then you don't need this. But if you don't have an accessory outlet in the back, that's what this makes. I'd be a little nervous about this. What I would probably want to do is put a surge suppressed power strip glued to the TV. This is not a particularly useful thing. I know, this is so cheesy. Do not buy this. No tools needed. Yeah, get a good surge suppressed power strip. Mount that to the back of your TV. Plug your TV into that, and that into the hole in the wall. Yeah, that's a good one. Would you trust your pacemaker to this, or your life support to this? No. Poor guy waited on hold for an hour and a half. Well, if Monster Cable makes it, it must be good. Let's see what Monster Cable sells. 10 times more, right? Yeah, same thing. $60. But it's super thin. Flat screen power center. You do want a good surge protector. Some of these TVs are pretty sensitive to bad power, but not the Insta outlet. Don't most TVs have plug sockets in the back? It seems like they do. Mine does. Are you in an RV? No. I've investigated the Insta outlet. It's a splitter. I understand the idea. If you have a TV set that is, and this is only for somebody who has spent the money to get your TV set mounted on the wall with no wires around it because there's a hole in the wall and the plug's going into the wall into the power that way. So, I guess the wife doesn't want any wires visible at all. So the idea of this thing is, well, now you plug your TV into a hole in the wall. You don't have any other power sources. My suggestion would be, instead of getting the $15 Insta outlet, is to get a good surge suppressor, put that on the back of your TV, plug your TV into that, plug any other devices into that, and that can go in the hole in the wall. You'll get it's a better idea. You condition the power a little bit. And many TVs, and I think if you spend enough money to mount a TV, you probably have a pretty good TV. It's going to have a auxiliary or accessory plug in the back. You could use that instead. So a sound bar, you spent a lot of money on this nice mounted TV. It must have cost you $500 at least to mount it on the wall. Why get a $100 sound bar? It's not going to sound any better than the TV sound. A sound bar is already a compromise, understand, because it's only a speaker in front of you. It's barely left, right, and center. A good sound bar will give you a little bit more bass, a little bit more response, and maybe even some imaging so that you have a little bit of surround sound. I'm not against stereo speakers for a TV. I think that's fine. But you want good speakers, and a sound bar, by necessity, the speakers are tiny. They have to be small enough to fit right under the TV there. It's a big sacrifice. The Sonos sounds pretty good. You can add a subwoofer to it very easily, which will really make a big difference. You don't need big speakers for the high end and the mid range, but you do need a big speaker to move a lot of air on the bass frequencies. So having a sub will make some difference. Now you spent $1,500 for the sub and the Sonos. You get additional Sonos features, which is nice. Polk Audio makes some good sound bars. There are good sound bars, but I've tried them. $100 sound bars sound terrible. You might as well just use a TV sound. That's really clean. And there's no wires, no speakers, nothing. Make it very easy. Michael, Valley Village, Leo Laporte.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, Michael.
Thank you so much for recommending Fusion from DSL Extreme. I'm turning my $95 AT&T bill into a $35 bill.
Yeah, I use it up here. Now, it's only available in certain areas, so people listen nationwide who say, well, DSL Extreme doesn't have it in my area. They may not. You're in the Southern California area.
Yes, I am.
But it's nice because it's an ADSL2 solution that gives you phone lines. I got the dual line solution, so I have 2 phone lines and very fast DSL. It really is nice. I agree.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm going to get it on Tuesday. I think
you'll like it.
Yeah.
And it's landline service. It's not VoIP. It goes right back to the phone company's central office.
Right. And it's going to be great to call AT&T and say, stop billing me.
I know. It's a nice feeling. Yeah, it's a very good deal. I think I pay $70 for 2 lines and very good high-speed internet
that's
access.
Great.
Yeah.
So the question is, I need to get 2 questions. I need to get a router, or do you think I'll be able to use my AT&T modem because it's Wi-Fi, and the modem that DSL sent me is not. So either I need to get a router.
Yeah.
Or
you can use any Wi-Fi router connected up to the DSL Extreme modem.
But you don't think it'll work on my AT&T modem?
Well, if you could...
I mean, I'm not... It's just between you and me.
I think it will. I might. You have to... The problem with the AT&T thing, that's a DSL modem also.
Yes, it is.
So you need to disable that feature. And what you want to do is tell the DSL, the AT&T router to work in bridge mode. That is, let the DSL Extreme modem do all the DHCP configuration and let that AT&T modem just be a... It may not even have the right jacks, to be honest with you, because it needs an Ethernet in. Does it have Ethernet in on it?
Oh yeah, no, it's the same thing. I have DSL with AT&T, so they're going to.
It's not the same thing because the AT&T just has a phone jack into it, not an Ethernet into it. So you need something that will come out of the DSL Extreme router via Ethernet. That's the big RJ45, and go into.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the back of it.
It does.
I've got this big
All right.
yellow wire, that's flashing green, and I've got a gray wire that's going to the phone.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know whether it'll work or not. Does somebody make a router that acts like a Roku also, or is that two totally different, separate things?
So you want to have a router that has television.
Since I'm going to have to buy something, yes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. It really is two different things.
Okay.
Roku's cheap. That's the good news. $99. You're gonna love it. That should tell the folks at Roku. You really should make a Wi-Fi router.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody that does anything like that on a Wi-Fi router.
Okay, well, great. So I'm gonna Tuesday.
So on the key on the AT&T is if you can go into the settings on there and say bridge mode. I don't think that it has Ethernet in. I think it has phone line in and Ethernet out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, but I got that, I don't know. I got that that thick-ish, not as thick as the yellow, but a gray cable that's coming from...
Well, you could try it. Nothing's going to... You know what? It'll either work or it won't.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I think you're going to have to go out and get a Wi-Fi router, Wi-Fi access point.
And you don't particularly, one is no better than another.
I like D-Link and Netgear a little marginally better than Linksys. When Cisco bought Linksys, they really ran them into the ground.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Chuck one up in the chat room says, Netgear does make a media server Wi-Fi router. If anybody would do it, it would be Netgear.
Netgear?
Yeah.
Wow. So I would be able to hook it up to my TV as well?
Yeah. I guess so. I'll have to look into it. I haven't seen it.
Is Roku or something like that wireless to the TV, or you have to connect
It has an HDMI connector to the TV, and it can use either wired or wireless internet.
Okay, but I do have to connect a wire.
Sure, you have to. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
An HDMI adapter.
All right. Leo, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. I don't have to look into this this Netgear thing. Media server. Well, it's a media server. I don't know if you can run Plex on it or not. All-in-one Wi-Fi storage routers. If anybody would do it, it would be Netgear. They seem to like to do all of this stuff. The WNDR 4700. The Centria. Tell you what, there is a review in the chat room. Has been put a link up for it on CNET. You can read the review, see what it does. Much more than a time capsule killer. It's $200, so it better be good. Fast network and storage performance. It's expensive and noisy. Oh, okay. It's got a big old fan in there. This doesn't sound like a great solution. The Roku is so good. I would just get a best-in-class Wi-Fi router and a best-in-class television streaming device and leave it at that. That's the way to do it. Carl, Las Vegas, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Carl.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excellent. It's a cool day in Las Vegas. It's only 93.
I wish we had a 93-degree day here because it's rainy, and I'm not going to see the super moon tonight because there's going to be big clouds.
I lived in Fort Bragg for a year and froze my butt off.
Yeah, Northern California could be cold. What can I do for you?
Well, real quick on the sound bars, I wanted to give you an idea. Vizio makes some good sound bars.
I'm not surprised. They're a good company, and they're really trying to provide price sensitive stuff. So what's the name of the Vizio?
With a powered subwoofer and rear speakers.
Wow. How much?
$259. It was a B stock unit, and the sub is a wireless sub.
Great recommendation. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hang on, Carl. We'll answer your question when we come back. Say again? No, I haven't written down, but I still make them up. I like to make them different every time. They give me. We tell all the advertisers because I use all this stuff, so it's not like I don't know about it. So we tell the advertisers, give me bullet points or some, stuff you want me to mention. But understand that Leo's just going to do what Leo does. And if you don't like it, you shouldn't advertise. The radio's a little different. Sometimes they want me to stick to copy, so generally on the radio. It also has to be exactly 60 seconds on the radio, so I can't ad-lib quite as much as I do on the podcasts. On the podcast, I just talk till I'm done. I am. On the podcast, for sure. Yeah. But like you listen to this.
To send out presentations with ShareFile, you can send files of almost any size.
I'm pretty much reading that just because it has to be exactly 60. And radio advertisers haven't really caught into the idea that the host might be really like using the product and just kind of talking about it. And we try to we do a lot of education with the people who advertise on the podcasts, because we only take ads for stuff I use, and they're real endorsement ads, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to and we charge them like 10 times more than radio does. So we explain you're getting more because you're getting a real endorsement from Leo, and he's talking about what he uses, and that's why it costs so much. But they come back, so it works for them, I think.
You're gonna stay with the radio?
Every 3 years I go, I can't wait to get out of this thing. And Lisa says, you're crazy not to. And at this point, I'm making so much money on the radio, I would be crazy not to. The way, yeah. I think the radio helps because it introduces me to a newer audience that just doesn't know anything about me. Right. Yeah. And I think most of our Twit audience doesn't come from radio, but enough do that it's probably worth it. The way it worked originally was, the radio deal is a rev share, so they take out operating costs and then we split the revenue 50-50. So it was decent money, but I really didn't feel like I could say give me more money. So Lisa said, well, instead of that, let's just say, can we sell ads can we own the podcast and sell ads on the podcast? And we give them a cut. So we give them a rev share of these ads, and they give us a rev share of those ads. And it ended up doubling the amount of money I made. It really made a big difference. So now I'm kind of stuck. I like doing it. I just miss my weekends. I really miss my week. But I haven't had weekends. When you work in radio, you don't get weekends, right? We haven't had weekends.
If you work weekends.
If you work weekends, right.
But you don't have a life if you do that dreamy morning drive, right?
Well, that's the worst. I've done morning drive, and it's so horrible. You've done it. It's so horrible. I
Refuse.
refuse.
Our friend Kim does it.
Is Kim doing it? I saw we were with Kim yesterday.
Yeah.
Please give her my regards and get her to come up here.
Oh, yeah, she's going to. She totally wants to. She likes it up here.
Good.
We're going to go antiquing or whatever.
Oh, fun. Hold on. Here we go. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Heather Hammond, our call screener. We're almost done here, Heather. Mm-hmm. We got to go home pretty soon. Carl is still on the line, I hope, because I wanted to, he said he had a question, and I wanted to give him a chance. Hi, Carl.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so now what's your question?
All right. I'm operating right now off of a Mac Mini from mid-2007. I'm looking to upgrade, and I'm kind of down between the new Mac Minis because they're much faster and also a big step, an iMac.
Yeah. Well, the Mac Mini is cheap, which is nice. It's the least expensive Macintosh, and essentially you're making very few concessions with the Mac Mini. It's just not upgradable, basically. But you can't upgrade an iMac either.
Yeah,
especially the new iMacs. So what you pay for with the iMac is a big screen. I have a 27-inch iMac sitting right in front of me, the new model, and that's very thin and pretty, and it's got a big screen, but that's a lot of money.
More than double, yeah.
So I think that the screens that Apple sells are better. You can get less expensive screens. I bought a mono-price 30-inch screen for under $1,000, a lot less than the Apple 27. It's nice. It's not as good. The color's not as accurate, but it's cheap. So you get what you pay for with the Apple screens. If you're happy with the Mac Mini, go get another Mac Mini.
Okay. If I decide to go with the iMac, everything I'm hearing saying that they may be upgrading to the new processor in the iMac.
I think soon. I think on all of the Apple stuff, you're going to see 4th generation Intel chips soon.
Okay.
You know, they only upgraded the MacBook Airs to Haswell in June.
Right.
So I would guess in the next month or two, they're going to do the whole line. They have to. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
So I fully expect that. Now, gosh, you get Thunderbolt with the new minis. You get USB 3. They're very compact. If you've got a nice monitor that you like and you want to just keep using that, I can't. You know, a mini is an amazing deal. They start at $600.
Yeah, with everything I need on it, it's like $1,100 and some odd dollars or something like that. I mean, you can't beat it.
I think it's a good deal. Yeah. Yeah, stick with it, and it's cool looking.
It is. It's so small, so space. Yeah. You know, and I can add a Thunderbolt display for another $900. What the heck?
Right. I think I would go ahead and do that. I mean, you pay for the elegance of the iMac, not for the capability.
Yeah, you could upgrade to a little bit bigger hard drive, go from 1 to a 3. You can add more memory to it.
But you can do all. Yeah, the memory's the only thing because you can do because it has Thunderbolt. You can do the external hard drive and double the capacity simply.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really about RAM, and it comes with what, 4 gigs, 8 gigs? Can you get 8 gigs in it?
You can get 8 gigs in it.
That's all you need. It's rare that you need more than that. You'd have to be doing something pretty special.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Stick with it.
All right. I'll tell my wife you suggested buy the cheaper one.
She'll love you.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'd save you some money. Hey, thanks for the call. Nice to talk to you. Appreciate your holding on. Effie is in Studio City. Our next call. Hi, Effie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello. It's awesome to talk to you. I'm a huge fan.
Thanks, Effie.
So I love my iPhone, and we're Mac people. We have MacBook Pros and Airs and all of this stuff, but I'm pregnant and...
Congratulations. Oh, my goodness. This is a great time to have a good camera, isn't it?
Exactly. So that's my new priority is I don't know if I should stick with the iPhone or upgrade to... I have a 4 right now, so I can upgrade to either the new one or wait a little bit, or should I totally switch to something else?
When are you due?
August 11th.
Oh.
So we're getting there.
Well, your baby's going to come sooner than a new iPhone comes.
Right.
So I'll tell you, the iPhone really is probably the best camera phone out there. The 5 is better than the 4.
Right. So, and I can upgrade to the 5 right now. So
yeah, there's going to be a 5 next generation. I don't know what Apple's going to do. I doubt they'll make the camera better.
Okay.
So I think if you get a 5 now, you're probably going to get as good a camera as they offer. They might upgrade a little bit, but not much. Apple's very conservative. They don't make big changes, you know. Now, I have to say, I think the problem with a camera phone when it comes to a baby is that it still takes a little time to get the camera to run and then take that picture, and babies move fast. So you might want to get another camera.
No, we do have a Canon.
Okay.
Ready to go, but just for all those on-the-go pictures kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so nice because you can share it immediately with family and friends. I mean, it's just a really great way to go. The people I know who have babies, I see far more camera phone pictures than I do regular pictures. Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
I'm glad we can help. Congratulations. Good luck. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a new iPhone until September. It might have a better camera, but that's too late for you. You might stick with your iPhone 4, but, boy, that's 3 months of baby time you're going to miss. And you'd have a free upgrade right now. I'll go ahead and upgrade. Other great camera phones, there are a number of them. The Lumias from Nokia are very good. They may arguably be better than the iPhone, but it's close. And you have to go with Windows Phone to do that. A lot of people don't want to do that. In the Android space, I believe it or not, I for a long time thought the HTC One might have the best camera. They decided to go with a 4-megapixel camera, a lower number of pixels, but larger 2-micron pixel elements. And the theory being, well, the bigger pixels means there'll be better low light sensitivity. You'll get better images. It is better in low light. It's still, I think the Galaxy S4 is actually a better camera after taking a lot of pictures with both. The Galaxy S4, which went the opposite direction, they went to 13 megapixels, really teeny tiny pixels. And I think it's still a better camera. A lot of this is the software, right? In most cases, they're using the same sensors, Sony sensors. So really, it's about the software. I think if you've got an iPhone, you're right up there with the top. You are. And the software's great. There's a huge variety of programs you can use with it. You got it already. And getting a 5, that's going to make a difference. It's going to make it better. They're all Sony guts. It's really what happens after you take the picture. Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. I hope you go to our website, techguylabs.com. All week long, Tech Guy Labs is up taking questions, answering questions. We've got comment section. We've got tips there on how to encrypt your emails so the spies can't catch them. Our hero of the month and a lot more. techguylabs.com. We will put audio from this show and video up shortly after the show. We do that, so if you miss any show, you can always go back and listen. You can also, if you said, I want to hear, what was that answer? What was Leo talking about on Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon? You can go right there, find the show. This is show 990. Just go to show 990. You can go to the questions and answers for the entire show. Listen to it, watch it, and so forth. All week long, we see somebody in the chat room. Dr. Max says, what are some recommendations for programming that Leo talked about yesterday? It's on the website, techguylabs.com. All week long, I podcast 25 shows all about technology at twit.tv. I'll see you back here next week. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.